Cheating rumors, legal scandals, secret NDAs, yet Beyonce stays silent. Why? Well, the real reason is finally becoming clear. To the public, Beyonce and Jay-Z's marriage might look like a perfect power couple, untouchable and glamorous, but beneath the flawless photos and award show PDA lies a marriage that's been meticulously managed, calculated, and hidden from the world in a way that very few Hollywood couples could ever pull off. For years, fans and media have speculated about what goes on behind closed doors. Beyonce doesn't just protect herself, she protects her empire. Her silence isn't about weakness or denial, it's a strategic choice, a masterclass in controlling her narrative and protecting her legacy. While others might air every betrayal on social media, Beyonce has made it clear that the private details of her marriage are off limits. And there's a very compelling reason why. Beyonce has openly discussed her need for self-care and the importance of her family, especially when it comes to raising her 3 children. But listen closer, she frames privacy as not just a preference, but a weapon. So every decision she makes about what she shares and what she keeps hidden is designed to shield her family, her finances, and her career from unnecessary exposure. Then there's the music. If you dig into the story behind her albums, you see the breadcrumbs. I mean, in Lemonade, she alludes to betrayal and emotional pain, while Jay-Z's 444 touches on accountability and regret. I mean, later in Everything Is Love, their collaborative album, the message shifts to reconciliation, loyalty, and a carefully orchestrated partnership. The songs themselves read like a public journal, releasing just enough insight to make fans feel like they're inside the couple's private struggles while still keeping the real details locked away. This is not accidental. It's, calculated storytelling, and it's designed to maintain control over their narrative while protecting the things that matter most, their family, brand, and their future. Beyonce's silence also functions as a shield against the darker side of fame. Jay-Z has faced serious allegations and public controversies, including legal battles and damaging accusations that could destroy a marriage in the public eye. Instead of letting those storms play out in tabloids and social media speculation, Beyonce chooses discretion. Standing by him doesn't necessarily mean agreement or forgiveness. It's a strategic choice to protect what's theirs and to prevent the media from dictating their story. And it works. I mean, by controlling the flow of information, Beyonce makes the world chase her narrative rather than the other way around. So beyond protection, there's legacy at play. Beyonce has built an empire from talent, determination, and absolute control of her image. Every red carpet, every performance, every carefully framed photo contributes to an ongoing story of excellence, authority, and dominance in entertainment. Allowing her private life to unravel publicly would literally threaten that empire. So privacy isn't just a personal choice, it's a form of power that most celebrities will never understand. So while others feel the need to broadcast every heartbreak or confrontation, Beyonce knows the ultimate strength comes from mastering what people don't see. And let's not forget, there's a clear message in her rare public moments with Jay-Z. Every PDA, every side-by-side appearance is intentional. It's enough to reassure the public that things are stable, but never enough to reveal the full picture. Beyonce's approach is the art of controlled vulnerability, giving the world just enough to admire her marriage while keeping the truth securely behind closed doors. So most celebrities, stumble when scandals hit. Beyonce anticipates, shields, and executes a strategy so precise that the world only ever sees what she wants it to see. That's why the real story of her marriage isn't in headlines or gossip, it's in what she chooses not to show. Something is seriously wrong with Hollywood's most royal couple, Beyonce and Jay-Z. Have we missed all the red flags, or are they just really good at keeping up their facade? Let's dig into it. When you look at Beyonce and Jay-Z and it all seems so perfect, golden couple energy, billionaire brand, kids, you'd swear they're living the fairy tale, but if you peek behind the velvet rope, baby, the red flags are waving hard. First up, the age gap. Jay-Z is 12 years older than Beyonce, and they started dating when she was just 19. That kind of gap in your late teens isn't just different phases of life, it invites a power imbalance. Experts point out that older partners can have parental-like influence, and Bey has said, he taught her how to be a woman. That's not romantic, that's mentorship. Or even manipulation. Then there's the cheating. Beyonce didn't just write songs, she went nuclear. Lemonade was her epic, emotional, rallying cry, unpacking betrayal and hurt in a way only she could. But she didn't leave it at heartbreak, she built an entire art project around it. And Jay-Z, well, he didn't stay silent either. On his album 444, he finally owned up. He raps about apologizing for emotional distance, for womanizing, for the guilt over lost pregnancies. He even says, he wasn't ready for her maturity, begging her not to walk away. That sounds like more than an old fling, that's deep, like generational trauma. There's also the family tension. Anyone remember the elevator fight? Well, her sister Solange straight up attacked Jay-Z while Beyonce was just there watching. That didn't come from nowhere. Something, or some people think it hints at deeper resentment beneath the perfect couple image. Another huge one is their relationship isn't just personal, it's part of their brand. Their love lives are tied to their business empire. When you're a multi-billion-dollar power couple, breaking up might break more than your heart. It could crack the whole business. And don't think Beyonce is not paying a price. Between her endless grind and the emotional labor, she's pushed herself to the limit. Meanwhile, Jay's made grand apologies through his music, but has the real change stuck? Or is this just another stellar album cycle? I mean, when you add it all up, the age gap, the infidelity, the emotional baggage, the business stakes, their marriage starts to look less like true love conquers all and more like a high-risk corporate merger. So yeah, their relationship might be legendary, but it's far from flawless. They're not just Beyonce and Jay-Z, they're a billion-dollar brand, and sometimes the stakes of staying together feel way bigger than the stakes of leaving.
One of the most iconic Hollywood couples has problems just like everyone else. Everybody on the internet in 2014 remembers when news of Jay-Z's infidelity hit the stands. I mean, he didn't really admit to it until 2017, but 2014 was the year of the elevator fight with Beyonce's sister Solange, and that was the kind of incident the press could only concoct in their wildest dreams. On top of that, it happened at/after the Met Gala of all events, so yeah, the tabloids were working overtime trying to figure out what exactly would compel Beyonce's sister to attack Beyonce's husband in an elevator. First, we got the video of the incident, and then the pictures seemingly taken afterwards, and in those, Solange is strutting without a smile, Jay-Z is holding his face, and Beyonce, well, she almost looks proud. Yeah, it wasn't long before rumors were spreading through every corner of the internet. Nothing was off the table. However, most centered around the idea that Jay-Z cheated. Once that was the widely accepted theory, the question went from why to who. I mean, I guess there was still a why. Why would you ever cheat on Beyonce? But pretty soon people wanted to know who Jay-Z allegedly cheated with. Beyonce left clues on her 2016 album Lemonade when she sang about Becky with the good hair, and one woman ended up seemingly confessing on her social media shortly after, Rachel Roy. Roy decided to post a photo with the caption, "Good hair, don't care," and it has baffled people ever since. Because she deleted it shortly after and said in a statement that she wasn't the mistress and the post was just a joke. But that's like the worst prank ever. Why would you want people to think, even for a second, that you are the person that Jay-Z cheated on Beyonce with? Beyonce's fanbase, especially at this time, was ruthless. Why would you ever want the Bayhive in your comment section like that? Also, if she was the girl, why would you post that in a proud way about that kind of thing? Anyways, she later said that she wasn't Becky with the good hair, but her Instagram post, it did some damage. People still think she was the mistress, even almost 10 years later. Of course, she mustn't be confused with Rachel Ray, because that did happen. Poor Miss Rachel Ray probably woke up in the morning more confused than she ever had been. But it wasn't Rachel Ray, it was Rachel Roy. While Rachel Roy is the internet's top suspect as Jay-Z's mistress, that doesn't mean she was the only one accused. Rita Ora was another popular choice. She was signed to Jay-Z's label in 2008, so she did know the man personally, but the big thing was she had posted a Snapchat of herself in a lemon bathing suit, which everyone thought was shade towards Lemonade the album. Plus, in the photo that made the rounds online, she was wearing a necklace with a letter J. That does look bad. However, Ora was later asked about this in an interview, and she insists that the necklace was actually an R. She claims that someone photoshopped the J, or it was just a small R flipped around and it just looked like a J in that way. And when you look at other photos of her, pictures where she's wearing the necklace, that does appear to be the case. She also shared that the lemon top was part of some brand that she was working with. The timing wasn't great considering it came just a few days after the album drop, but Ora claims that it was all pure coincidence. One Reddit user has done some super sleuthing into who Jay-Z's mistress could have been, and it isn't anything like you've ever heard before, like Rita Ora or Rachel Ray, but instead former Miss Belgium Claudia Schillen. The Reddit user xfoxmcleod2x really put in the work to prove their theory. They referenced traced Jay-Z's tour dates from 2013 in Europe to the distance he would be from certain locations. They dug back in time for tweets that Claudia had made about it all. Some news sites reported on Jay-Z's alleged time with Claudia at the time it happened, and from those gossip sites we have quotes from Claudia talking about how Jay-Z bought her and her group champagne, he was allegedly calling her beautiful. The Reddit user has presented the theory that Jay-Z was involved with many people before that 2014 elevator fight, and that Claudia was either one of them or she knew something about it and signed an NDA. Claudia has denied any intimate involvement with the rapper. It turns out Becky with the good hair might not be who you think she is. Becky, especially at the time Lemonade came out, was slang for a white woman with a narrow worldview. When Beyonce sang this line about Becky, everyone quickly scoured the internet for a white woman that she could be referencing. But Becky isn't just the name for a person, it's also the name of a song by rapper Plies. His song Becky is quite explicit, but in it he equates the word Becky to intimate acts. Black social media users have shared that within the black community, the term good hair can sometimes mean a hair type. Antisocial Dreamer on Reddit said typically type 3 hair. They theorized that Beyonce wasn't necessarily referring to one famous Becky, but instead that Jay-Z was getting intimate with just someone else while they were married. So not denying the affair rumors, but just that she wasn't being specific about the person and instead about the act that that person would have performed. A Jay-Z cover-up conspiracy has taken online forums by storm. The theory suggests that Jay-Z and Beyonce named their daughter to cover up one of Jay-Z's past relationships. Yeah, so Jay-Z dated music artist Blue Control in 2001. They didn't date very long, but it was long enough that people caught wind of them being together. You might notice that Control and Jay-Z's daughter, they share a first name. They're spelled differently, but they sound the same. People think that it's a little bit odd to have a daughter with the same name as an alleged ex, so a conspiracy was born from it, of course. Why do people think Jay-Z and Beyonce wanted to bury Control? Well, at the time she was involved with Jay-Z, he was starting to get involved with Beyonce. Then an interview came out a couple years later when Control claimed that she still had a crush on Jay-Z and didn't care who he was dating. She wouldn't make the first move, but if he made one, she wouldn't turn him down kind of deal. That wouldn't be a nice thing to hear about the person you're in a relationship with, but also this interview didn't go big. It was a random bonus feature on some random DVD, so there is a chance that Beyonce and Jay-Z never even saw it. So it seems like an extreme overreaction to bury someone over a crush. The true meaning of Blue's name, it comes from a nickname the family had given her over the pregnancy, Blueberry. You probably heard about Jay-Z's accusation alongside Sean Diddy Combs, but if you haven't, basically one of the cases against Diddy just added Jay-Z as the second of 3 people that intimately harmed them when they were young. The case against Jay-Z was later dismissed, and the third person is actually still a mystery, but this lawsuit came out right around when the new live-action Lion King movie, starring Jay-Z's daughter, came out last year, so there was a lot of press around it. Sources claimed that Beyonce and Jay-Z were in crisis mode over the accusation at the time. It wasn't a great moment for the couple because the victim was so young. Then he was being pictured out with his daughter, and then people were bringing up that Beyonce was very young when she met and married him, the age gap, it was messy. Now that Jay-Z's case has been dismissed, the latest connection he has to Diddy is that he was mentioned as witnesses just in a separate incident. One online theory suggests that Jay-Z once pierced someone over a past girlfriend, Charlie Baltimore. The drama of it all. About 25-ish years ago, Jay-Z was arrested at a club after he poked someone that allegedly leaked his album. Album leaks are a big deal today, but they clearly meant more back then since Jay-Z was ready to send someone to the hospital over it. Or was he? The theory is that both him and the leaker were involved with the same woman, Charlie Baltimore. So the incident was allegedly less about the music and more about romance. Of course, the only thing that is true 100% about this whole thing is that Jay-Z did get arrested that night, but the official reason for that arrest is all speculation. Carmen Bryant has claimed to have had a 9-year affair with Jay-Z. Now, this isn't recent. She isn't Becky with the good hair. It was actually all revealed in 2006. She claims that she got involved with Jay-Z while dating another rapper, Nas. She was a finance officer for a company related to Jay-Z's company. She claims her affair with him went from 1995 to 2004. She further claimed that she got pregnant during that affair and that it was Jay-Z's child. Unfortunately, she did miscarry, but later on she did have other kids. They were not Jay-Z's kids, it happened later. Jay-Z actually supposedly rapped about getting intimate with her and then leaving the remnants in one of her kids' car seats. She apparently lost respect for him after that one, and I don't blame her.
Jay-Z and Beyonce's past is back to haunt them. Resurfaced red flags expose them like never before. Jay-Z and Diddy were once referred to as hip-hop royalty to this day, and despite all the controversies, many still give them that title. The rappers both rose to fame in the 90s and have maintained a very close friendship over the years. After both beating jail time in 1999 for their involvement in separate crimes, the duo are now facing more legal allegations. In 2024, a woman accused the rap legends of essaying her at a house party in 2000 when she was just a young woman. Now, both Combs and Jay have denied the allegations, but was the 1999 incident just a big red flag for worse to come? In December of 1999, Jay was arrested and charged with attacking Lance Riviera during a heated argument in a Manhattan nightclub. Lance is a record producer and music executive who began his musical career when he met neighborhood rapper Christopher Wallace, better known as Biggie Smalls. After hearing Biggie perform, Rivera offered to finance his musical career, and that opened the door to more connections in the industry. Jay-Z turned himself into the police for the incident and was placed under arrest before being released on $50,000 bail. Jay initially pleaded not guilty, but later copped out to third-degree battery in exchange for 3 years probation. In his 2010 book, Decoded, Jay spoke about the incident, admitting that he angrily approached Rivera but wasn't responsible for the attack. Now, fast forward to May 2023, Rivera said Jay was not the one who attacked him, telling DJ Vlad, "I don't know where people got Jay-Z attacked me from, because if anybody knows Jay-Z, Jay-Z's a nice guy." He went on to say, "I ended up getting surrounded by a bunch of people. It was probably like 10 weapons that I knew of, and I ended up getting hurt." Rivera confirmed that Jay-Z was there and that they had had a conversation right before he got hit in the head with a champagne bottle. Now, many fans have speculated whether Jay was really responsible or if Rivera lied back then or is maybe lying now. Now, one friend at the party, Chris Scotti, he said that he thought Jay punched Rivera and was actually shocked to see it. However, many people think that Rivera is getting paid now to say Jay actually never did it, and that saying things like Jay is a really nice guy is a way to help Jay's image right now, since it's been quite damaged recently. So some people have even speculated that Jay's paid Rivera to say these things now. Rivera has said for the record that everyone who was there has a different story on what actually happened, but only me and Jay know what really went on. To me, that kind of leaves things unanswered. Like, I hear what you're saying, but I don't feel you though. Something is off, right? Now, fast forwarding back again to October 2024, going as Jane Doe, the woman previously mentioned, filed a lawsuit accusing Combs and an unnamed male celebrity of essaying her at a party. Now, 2 months later, the plaintiff amended the suit to include Jay-Z's name as the male celebrity who also essayed her. According to the revised lawsuit, the woman alleged that she began to feel lightheaded after consuming a drink at the party and went to lie down in a bedroom. Shortly after, the plaintiff claimed both Diddy and Jay entered the room and allegedly began to remove her clothing and held her down, while Combs allegedly essayed her as an unidentified female celebrity watched. Now, Jay aggressively denied the allegations he described as heinous, and on December 8th, 2024, writing a statement that the victim's attorney, Tony Busby, was trying to blackmail him with the lawsuit. This lawsuit has definitely brought up Jay's past lawsuit, and many people online have said we should have taken the first one as a red flag for more to come. Did you know Beyonce fired her father as her manager? Well, if you didn't, now you do. Beyonce is a diva, no doubt, and a lot of choices she's made has been questionable to say the least, but some have raised some alarm bells because many critics have looked at them as red flags, this one being no exception. Beyonce fired her father, Matthew Knowles, as her manager back in 2011. Now, Beyonce's father has overseen her career since she first auditioned for gigs as a kid and a teenager. Now, while the singles mother Tina was her stylist, Matthew managed his daughter's whole solo career in years, and as a member of her R&B group Destiny's Child. He even actually started the original girls group, which he named Girls Time, when she was just 8 years old. Now, Beyonce explained her decision at the time, saying that she was only ending their business relationship and that she still loved and was grateful to him. She said, "I grew up watching both he and my mother manage and own their own businesses. They were hardworking entrepreneurs, and I will continue to follow in their footsteps." Her father was accused, though, of stealing money from Beyonce by Live Nation, which was revealed in court documents in 2011. Now, these allegations prompted her legal team to conduct an audit in October of 2010, which apparently concluded Knowles had taken funds. Knowles denied the allegations and has requested a judge to ask Live Nation the rationale for its claim. The 60-year-old has suggested that promoter was trying to win a larger share of Beyonce's tour revenue. Knowles said he was replaced with a former Live Nation executive. Live Nation have reportedly declined to comment on the issue, and he denied the accusations, and he actually took his daughter's former concert promoter to court, claiming Live Nation soured his relationship with Beyonce by making false statements about him. Matthew insisted this was just a business decision and unrelated to the family drama. He went on to say, "We mutually agreed to part ways in terms of me managing Beyonce, as my focus is in the investment of Music World's Entertainment's growing gospel and inspirational music division. Because of the success of these artists, my focus has to be on gospel now." Beyonce's relationship with her father is also explored in her 2016 album Lemonade. In the section titled Accountability, Beyonce questions potential power struggles she may have had with her father. She also has a song called Daddy Lessons on the album, in which she sings about being taught how to be hardworking or a hardworking young woman. Now, this whole incident caused many fans at the time to question the whole thing and wondered if this was a bad sign of Beyonce being too controlling, and it was labeled as a red flag, with one person saying, "Firing your father who has helped you skyrocket to stardom over accusations of theft is the biggest red flag I've ever seen in a long time. What would he need to steal for?" With another person saying, "Beyonce is an adult now and has had her father's opinions, and she has her own opinions now and the way she wants to do things. Her dad has always been controlling. This was a smart decision." Now, their relationship has been complicated, and he hasn't always been, perfect dad, father of the year, so many people have interpreted this in many different ways. But what are your guys' thoughts though? Beyonce's Ivy Park fashion line allegedly is produced in a sweatshop. This is a huge red flag because, well, unless you're unaware of how sweatshops operate, they're deeply inhumane and their practices are disgusting. Beyonce's much-hyped surprise collaboration with British clothing giant Topshop made headlines around the world when it launched. Topshop's website crashed as people rushed to purchase premium athleisure, with prices starting at $14 for sweatbands and going all the way up to $265 for a full-length color block bodysuit. Now, the clothing line was supposed to be a way to push a feel-good woman empowerment ethos and to de-emphasize perfectionism and to value strength over beauty, but the backlash was inevitable. A British tabloid newspaper named The Sun ran an expose describing the Sri Lankan garment workers making the range as sweatshop slaves, earning just 64 cents an hour. Now, reporters visited the site, and one sewing machine operator said that she was unable to survive on her basic wage of 18,500 rupees a month, which is about $126. The newspaper claimed average seamstresses earn about $7 a day and acknowledged that workers at the factory were still being paid above the legal minimum wage of 13,500 rupees a month. But what is being described by The Sun is that it looks like a severe case of exploitation bordering on slavery. The reporter highlighted particular concerns, including low pay and limits on the women's movements at night by locking them into their accommodation. Like, the workers reside on site and are subject to curfews, which is odd. A spokesperson for Ivy Park said, "Ivy Park has a rigorous ethical trading program. We are proud of our sustained efforts in terms of factory inspections and audits, and our teams worldwide work very closely with our suppliers and their factories to ensure compliance. We expect our suppliers to meet our code of conduct, and we support them in achieving these requirements." Beyonce hasn't directly spoken out, of course, about all of this, and it's caused a lot of concern from her fans. We are in 2024, girl. Time to start paying people better, am I right? A big red flag that has been brought up many times from Jay-Z and Beyonce's past is their big age gap. When we think of Hollywood power couples, we think of Jay-Z and Beyonce. In fact, the two have been together for so long at this point, it's like hard to remember a time they weren't. This leads to the question, though, of how long the two have actually been together and when exactly they started dating. Now, the current age difference between the two now would actually not raise any red flags because she's 43 and he's 55, but the red flag was drawn years ago when the two met when Beyonce was just 18, which was probably somewhere between 1999 and 2000. Now, Jay-Z was 30 at the time, but Beyonce has spoken before about how the two stayed friends for a while before things turned romantic. She said in an interview with Oprah, "We were friends first for a year and a half before we went on any dates, and though the two would go on to marry, they actually waited until 2008. Not just because of their 12-year age difference, but because according to Beyonce, she told 17 magazine at the time, "I really don't believe that you will love the same thing at 20 as you do 30. So that was my rule. Before the age of 25, I would never get married. I feel like you have to get to know yourself, know what you want, spend some time by yourself, and be proud of who you are before you can share that with someone else." The power couple quickly began working together professionally, starting with Jay-Z's 2002 track Bonnie and Clyde, followed by Beyonce's smash hit Crazy in Love. As suggested by the song title, it was inspired by Beyonce's deep affection for Jay-Z. Their personal lives often influenced their music, becoming a reoccurring theme throughout their relationship. Now, however, they managed to keep their 2008 wedding ceremony completely private. Many fans have said they feel bad that Beyonce wasn't given a chance to date around and explore her options because she likely felt pressured into being with Jay, and because that's all she knows, that's why she stayed. Fans today have said that back in the day, age gaps were not talked about enough because they were so normalized, like not only in Hollywood but also just in society. And the reality, which might shock a lot of y'all, is that the age gap between Beyonce and Jay-Z is the same age gap between Mr. Kelly and Aaliyah. But no one wants to talk about that, and we won't get into how Jay-Z was initially going after Aaliyah. That's a story for another time. Now, the inconsistencies around the actual numbers have always been a hot topic though, because in 2007, in an interview with Charlie Rose, Jay-Z said he met Beyonce 10 years ago, which would have meant 1997. But Beyonce said she was 18 when they first met and 19 when they first started dating. Beyonce was born September 4th, 1981, so this would actually put their first encounter in late 1999 or early 2000s. Now, many fans have come out and said that Jay and Bey are definitely lying, and she was definitely underage when he was first pursuing her, and they've been doing nothing but lying about it for years to protect their images. Many fans have said she was groomed, and in a popular video that's been watched millions of times, you see Beyonce standing next to Jay saying, "You taught me how to be a woman, you taught me how to be a leader, you taught me how to be a friend, you've given me so much in life." Many people said that he should not have taught you how to be a woman, and that video was like giving predatory vibes. Jay-Z and R. Kelly have worked together on 2 joint albums, Best of Both Worlds and Unfinished Business. They even went on tour together for the Best of Both Worlds tour, which was supposed to take place in 2002, but was pushed back to 2004 after allegations surfaced. Now, usually an artist working with another artist is not a cause for concern, but it is when the other artist is R. Kelly. So to give you some background, for more than 2 decades, chart-topping R&B singer R. Kelly had faced allegations of SA. Now, the accounts went back to the start of his career in the 1990s, with many centering on the predatory pursuit of young women. Now, in 1994, R. Kelly married Aaliyah, who was underage at the time, and Aaliyah lied about her age on the wedding certificate, listing herself as an adult. The marriage was annulled in February of 1995, but fast forward to 2002, Kelly was sued by Patrice Jones, a Chicago woman who claimed he got her pregnant when she was underage and she was forced to forego the pregnancy. Now, another woman by the name of Montina Woods also sued Kelly, alleging that he videotaped them being intimate without her knowledge. The recording was allegedly circulated on a tape sold by bootleggers under the title R. Kelly XXX. R. Kelly was later charged with 21 counts of making SA videos. He immediately denied the charges and pleaded not guilty in court. Now, during the time all of this was going on, R. Kelly was out on bail, releasing music videos, and yes, going on tour with Jay-Z. Jay-Z knew what was happening, was aware of the accusations, and still decided to continue not only his professional relationship with Kelly, but also his personal. Now, they stayed close friends, and in an interview back then when it was happening, Jay-Z said, "If he's guilty, I hope he gets help. If he's innocent, I hope people stand by him and apologize." That didn't age well. Now, the singer settled both cases out of court, paying undisclosed sums in return for non-disclosure agreements. Now, in 2021, R. Kelly was convicted, and in 2022, he was jailed for 30 years after being found guilty of 8 counts of racketeering and other charges in a New York court. R. Kelly was very recently sentenced to an additional 20 years, and now with this coming up, it has drawn more attention to Jay-Z because many people have said Jay-Z is just as predatory as R. Kelly and did to Beyonce what Kelly did to Aaliyah. The only difference is that Jay hit it better. There's demand from several people online wanting Jay-Z's past to be more carefully looked at through another lens now, especially since he's at the center of a new SA lawsuit that involves Diddy. Foxy Brown, let's talk about it. It has been reported many times that Jay-Z had an inappropriate relationship with Foxy Brown. They met in the mid-90s and they began collaborating on music projects. Now, she was apparently very young when they met and he was in his 20s, and in 1995, they recorded a song together that was extremely inappropriate for a young woman to be recording. It was explicit, talked about intimate acts, and just wasn't something anyone should be privy to at that age. Fast forwarding to the fall of 2024, Foxy Brown addressed relationship rumors with Jay-Z in a series of Instagram story posts. So Foxy Brown attempted to debunk rumors that she and Jay-Z had an intimate relationship when she was younger. Brown initially posted and addressed a screenshot of a tweet alleging Jay made her sign an NDA, among other things, calling it fake news. She wrote, "Miss me with that fake news, NDA and an MF alive could stop my story." She then posted a screenshot of a YouTube video saying she's breaking her silence about Jay-Z and references one of her IG stories where she tells someone, "My story will shock you to your core. I don't play victim, but I had to step away for a minute for my sanity or I would have been gone. Stop playing with my name." She then added, "Comprehension is a lost art and y'all want me to be anti-ho so bad." Rumors of their relationship actually date back to 2001 when rapper Nas mentioned their alleged relationship on his diss song Ether. Now, jumping forward to the recent allegations against Jay-Z and Diddy with the SA lawsuit from a Jane Doe, Foxy Brown appeared online again, suddenly weighing in on the accusations, sharing her Instagram stories saying, "Wow," and "Wait," with a shocked face emoji. Her third and final post was just a cold blue face emoji. Now, although Foxy has not confirmed that her posts are about Jay-Z and Diddy being accused of essaying a young woman at an MTV Video Music Awards party in 2000, many people are led to believe and speculate that it is, because at this point, what else would make Foxy react online that way? Bad business practices. Was Jay-Z writing bad checks? Well, in 2003, reports claim that 2 companies filed separate lawsuits against Jay-Z's nightclub that was named 4040 for a total of $46,000 in unpaid bills, claiming they received rubber checks from 21's Inc., which is Jay's company. Now, one company named Ronald Mark Associates was hired to create 30 custom tables that cost him $18,000. Apparently, Jay only put $5,000 down and the company was owed the rest, being about $13,000, but Jay never paid. Ron Berkowitz, a spokesperson for the Club 4040, downplayed the allegations, claiming that the bouncing checks are a burn wrap, whatever that means. It was reported that club employees were ducking phone calls, and that lawsuit was actually settled for about $1,114.59 to be exact on November 2nd, 2003. Jay-Z tried to countersue, saying the tables were not ready in time, so they weren't going to pay the full amount. Regardless, the West 25th Street nightclub 4040, which was actually named after baseball's biggest achievement, so players who hit 40 home runs and stole 40 bases in one season, survived and actually thrived. It has been a standout lounge with luxurious decor, sports memorabilia, and guests have enjoyed upscale bar cuisine and drinks. Now, unfortunately, if this has made you want to visit, think again, because after nearly 2 decades in business, in 2023, they closed its OG location. So many people actually believe that Jay-Z was the reason for them closing, saying his past has come back to bite him. But apparently that's not why. And although no real reason has been given to why they closed, they actually do plan to reopen at a new location in 2025, so keep your eyes peeled for that if overpriced pub food and underpoured drinks are your thing. Now, Jay-Z's love children And yes, aside from the 3 offspring he shares with Beyonce, let's talk about the others that are not so loved. Back in 2010, rumors circulated that Jay-Z had hooked up with an adult film star named Jasmine Cashmere. A few months later, Jasmine's friend were spreading news of a pregnancy, saying that Jay was the father. Now, Jasmine actually took to Twitter to deny the accusation, saying, "No, I am not pregnant by Jay-Z or any rapper from New York." Jay-Z also made a public statement as well, saying that he and Jasmine had never even crossed paths. It was supposedly a friend, however, that tipped off the news, saying that Jay had paid Jasmine $2.5 million to just disappear. The news outlet, being the National Enquirer, was able to confirm that the star, being Jasmine, bought a new house around that exact same time. And no one has bothered Jay since the alleged payout, so is that a coincidence? I think not. There was another rumor that Jay-Z has another child with Trinidadian model Chanel Scott. Back in 2002, Jay and Chanel had an open relationship while she was actually seeing another man. And so it was assumed that her child was her boyfriend's, but as her son grew up, the man rejected him as his own because the boy looked nothing like him. He actually looked like Jay-Z. And after a paternity test confirmed that Jay is the father, he did step up and took responsibility. He bought Chanel and his son a nice home in Trinidad, gave them $1 million. He also pays child support monthly, so that's good. And so yeah, it's safe to say Beyonce knows about this one, as we all do now. And apparently they are actually still friends who keep in contact. She said Jay is a good father, and one of Chanel's friends said, you know, it was a big ol' mess at one time, but I think once they resolved the issue of fatherhood, paternity, things started to level off. Funny enough, representatives at the time for Jay-Z had actually come out and said initially, there's no truth to these ridiculous rumors. People should be ashamed of using this kind of story and exploiting a child for publicity and ratings. But wait, there's more. One of Jay-Z's former friends claimed in 2022 that Jay has a secret adult daughter that resides in a home that Jay-Z purchased for her in Cambridge, Maryland, and that he pays her bills but allegedly does not allow her to put pictures of him around her house as part of their deal. Her name is Letitia Macer, who is now 34 years old. Now, she came out and claimed she is Jay-Z's secret daughter and shows DNA proof to support her claims. Jay-Z apparently used to date her mom Lisa back in the day, and Letitia was born in the early 90s, which makes sense. Now, she was quoted saying, "I've been quiet for far too long. Join me as I tell you my story of living in the shadows of being Jay-Z's daughter in a city where everyone knew he was my father. There's no way he can deny anything, especially when there were people that were there that knew him." Lisa's sister Terry even wrote a Facebook post, like a story, saying, "I know the story from start to finish. I hooked your mother and father up years ago." She said her and Lisa actually called Jay up on the phone to tell him about his daughter Letitia, and his exact words were, "Do you know how many women call here daily and say Jay-Z the baby daddy?" Anyway, Letitia apparently spends her days posting old photos on Instagram and videos that are to convince the public that she is Jay's daughter. And so I went on to go do some digging because I wanted to see what her Instagram was all about. Firstly, let me tell you, her Instagram handle is at Jay-Z's first daughter. I don't know, I thought that was kind of funny. Like, if To The Point was a person, it would be her. Now, anyway, I didn't get far because her account is set to private, which is odd considering her goal here, so womp womp. But maybe she'll accept my request to follow, and then I'll come back and I'll let you guys know what's going on there. Now, with all the recent controversies surrounding Jay-Z right now, it's reported she has more to say and doesn't plan on keeping quiet at all.
For starters, with Jay-Z, people just do not like him right now because he's been accused of inappropriately engaging with a young person alongside Sean Diddy Combs. So yeah, we're straight to the point with this one. Jay-Z has not been found guilty by any means. He was just recently tied to an accusation against Diddy. A woman alleges that when she was little, she attended a Diddy party, was inebriated, and while under the influence was attacked by the rappers inappropriately. Originally, she only named Diddy in the case, with the other celebrities referred to as Celebrity A and Celebrity B, but obviously that's changed. The case has alleged that Celebrity A was Jay-Z, and there is a possibility that matters were settled behind closed doors with them, as that's what Jane Toe's legal team allegedly attempted to do with Jay-Z, but obviously failed in that case. So yeah, there's some pretty serious allegations against the rapper right now. Already, people were kind of getting like celebrity fatigue when it came to Jay-Z and Beyonce, and what that is in simple terms, people have seen a lot of them recently, and now they are tired of seeing them and want something new. Already dealing with an unfavorable public opinion and then having this thrown into the mix is a recipe for fame disaster. People really don't want to see Jay-Z in public anymore and think that he shouldn't even be invited to major events with everything that he's been accused of. At first, it was just the new live-action Lion King red carpet, which his daughter and his wife were both involved with the movie, and the accusations had only recently come out a few days before, so it made sense that he might still want to attend that carpet. However, people were outraged at seeing him next to his family at the Grammy Awards a couple weeks ago. Many thought it was wrong to have him at the luxurious event and criticized the move. Some even considered this as Jay-Z desperately trying to maintain his star status amidst all the negative things happening. It was also made into a bigger deal when Kendrick Lamar won 5 Grammys for his diss track, Not Like Us. The song is about his feud with somebody else, it's with Drake. However, the themes of the song can technically relate to Jay-Z right now, considering what he's been accused of. In the song, Kendrick calls out Drake for acting in a strange manner when it comes to younger people. This is something that the rapper has been held accountable for by the public before. It was discovered that he was personally messaging young female stars, not like saying anything too weird, but people still found it weird that he was texting them so much to the point where they would think of him as a close friend. Yeah, people thought it was hypocritical of the Grammys to give so many awards to a song that features sections commenting how it's wrong to mistreat young people when there was someone sitting in the audience that has been accused of doing just that. Now again, Jay-Z has not been found guilty. He is adamant that he isn't guilty. Still, much of the public's favor has been lost and likely won't return until we get an official. Beyonce is an international household name with numerous hit singles, but people are questioning why the star feels the need to remain in the spotlight for so long. She has released a total of 8 albums, and that's not including things like live albums or soundtracks, etc. Those that have worked for / with the star in the past have remarked about her insane work ethic. Some even referred to her as a robot with the amount of work that she can get done in a day. Earlier in her career, Beyonce was everywhere, but her career really took off with her hit single, Single Ladies. This went viral at a time when going viral was kind of this new thing. You couldn't escape Beyonce or Beyonce-related content or Beyonce parodies simply because she was the moment. However, people started getting celebrity fatigue. It happens to the best of them. Suddenly, it became annoying to see Beyonce, and even though she might not have changed, the public's perception of her did, and soon she started disappearing between album releases, something the singer has addressed. The artist did an interview last year in which she said that fame started to feel like a prison for her. So instead of staying active in between album releases, she started to disappear. Choosing not to appear on red carpets as much anymore or not doing as many interviews, she wants to focus on the art she creates and specifically her time with her family. But if you're sitting there wondering why this particular conversation about Beyonce's fame level is reigniting right now, please think of the recent Grammy Awards, where Beyonce won Best Country Album and Album of the Year for Cowboy Carter. People are pretty upset that Cowboy Carter took home these trophies. The Album of the Year won because, well, their own favorites just didn't win, or they just think that this wasn't Beyonce's best work. And then the country album because some people just didn't like that Beyonce tried out the genre. Beyonce's country talents have been called into question since the album's March 2024 release date. Country is pretty different from what Beyonce has been known to do. Many of her past works include pop, R&B, and hip-hop, and everybody knows that once you enter the music industry, you have to stay in the genres you started with, and you absolutely can't cross over at all. That is not allowed. The more aggressive of those that didn't like Cowboy Carter have accused the singer of rigging the Grammys to steal awards from the other artists, aka those that kind of started with country and have stuck to country, except for Post Malone, who was also nominated and was another artist that did switch his sound up a lot for this album. But this is different from Beyonce because his fans have deemed him a genre hopper that doesn't really stick to one thing. He tries it all, but many of his songs before were pop, R&B, and hip-hop. Some country fans have said that the only country that they want to listen to is by those with a passion for the genre, not someone who is just looking to try it out for fun. And that's fair. You can tell when a person creating art doesn't really have their heart in it, and that's no fun. However, after some digging, I discovered a couple sources that suggest that Beyonce actually didn't just hop into the country genre just for fun, and she does have a passion for it. Back in 2016, she made headlines when she performed her country song Off Lemonade, Daddy Lessons at the CMA Awards. This was met with about as much backlash as she is now getting for her 2025 Grammy wins, but Beyonce's apparent love for country music dates almost a decade earlier than that. A 2007 article suggests that Beyonce had been thinking about writing country music for a long time. A source at the time said that Beyonce was considering making a country album next. In the end, her next album release was I Am Sasha Fierce, which is not country at all, so where did that source even get that from? Well, in 2007, Beyonce performed a country version of her hit Irreplaceable at the AMAs with country band Sugarland. The country remix was surprisingly great. I never would have thought it would work that well with that song. Beyonce didn't sing the song with that characteristic country twang. She very much kept her own sound, but it still worked just fine.
Unseen footage of Jay-Z has the truth coming to light, and videos Beyonce doesn't want you to see has resurfaced, causing fans to speculate the couple's true intentions. Never before seen footage of Sean Diddy Combs slapping Jay-Z on stage in a strange resurfaced video from 2007 has come to light recently, and fans are speculating about the real nature of their friendship. While Diddy prepares to defend himself against multiple allegations, this video has resurfaced showing the rapper slapping Jay-Z on stage at Screamfest. Now, during Screamfest in 2007, the two rappers took the stage with 50 Cent, T.I., and Kanye West. Now, the group performed some of the biggest hit songs from the time, including West's Can't Tell Me Nothing and 50 Cent's I Got Money, or I Get Money. Just before Jay-Z started performing Numb/Encore, Diddy was seen running around the stage. Now, as the music began, Diddy forcefully slapped Jay-Z on his behind twice. Now, at the time, Jay-Z didn't seem to care as he turned around and held up his diamond chains. While no one paid any mind to the gesture at the time, again, the interaction has gone viral since Diddy's arrest. Now, once an ex-user reposted the video, many quickly commented, of course. One person said, "Nah, a grown man slapping another grown man's behind." Another person added, "This did not age well." Someone else pointed out he tried blocking the first slap, but Diddy was bold and came for seconds. While many believe Diddy's actions to be inappropriate, others defended the incident somehow. Now, the head-scratching moment was pushed into the spotlight again after 50 Cent posted on his Instagram amid his feud with Combs. The post, of course, has since been deleted, so you can't see it, but fans were quick to react to the footage, as one person on X said, "This is disturbing," and another person added, "I wish I was Beyonce's lawyer because he's gonna be the winner once the divorce is settled." Another user reacted saying, "Diddy spanking Jay-Z live at a concert caught me by surprise. As a critic claimed, Diddy is a predator." The clip has been brought up again after Jay-Z was accused of essaying a young person alongside Combs at an MTV after party in 2000. In the lawsuit, the alleged victim said she took a drink at an after party which made her feel woozy and lightheaded, making her need to go lie down. Now, she said she laid down in what appeared to be an empty bedroom until Combs, Jay-Z, and an unnamed female celebrity entered the room. The filing reads, Combs aggressively approached plaintiff with a crazed look in his eyes, grabbed her, and said, "You are ready to party." The accuser said Combs threw her towards a wall, leading her to fall, then grabbed her again and threw her on the bed. The victim alleges Jay-Z then stripped her down as she grew more and more disoriented and held her down as he essayed her, while Combs and the female watched. The filing notes that after Jay-Z finished, he stepped back towards the wall. Now, Combs then stepped forward and essayed the plaintiff while Carter and Celebrity B allegedly watched. Now, Jay-Z was quick to deny the allegations on his Rock Nation Instagram, saying, "These allegations are so heinous in nature that I implore you to file a criminal complaint, not a civil one. Whomever would commit such a crime against a minor should be locked away. Would you not agree?" These alleged victims would deserve real justice if that were the case. He also mentioned, his family, saying, "My only heartbreak is for my family. My wife and I will have to sit our children down, one of whom is at the age where her friends will surely see the press and ask questions about the nature of these claims and explain the cruelty and greed of people." So while Combs has also denied the allegations, he remains at Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center awaiting trial on charges, for conspiracy, fraud, coercion, transportation to engage in illegal activities, and Due to these previous shock allegations, he has pleaded, of course, not guilty, but he has been denied bail 3 times. Now, before these allegations surfaced, the two men were friends, and collaborated on several projects and have supported one another's careers. They've also openly praised each other in the past. Their friendship and working relationship date back to 1997 when they collaborated on each other's albums following the passing of their friend and rapper Biggie Smalls. When Biggie passed, Biggie was signed to Diddy's record label, and he had already collaborated on Jay-Z's first album, Reasonable Doubt. Jay-Z and Beyonce were linked in 2001 when he was 33 and she was 19. Now, during that time, the pair regularly mingled with Diddy at Hollywood events. Less than a decade after collaborating with Jay-Z, Diddy joined forces with Beyonce on her 2003 hit single Summertime. Now, the rest, as we know, is history. The two joined forces on other hit singles, and of course, Jay-Z and Beyonce would go on to date, marry, and have children. Beyonce is being accused of lying about her age. There have been several moments that have made people question whether or not Beyonce is lying about her age. Beyonce's dad and former manager Matthew Knowles has seemingly added to the speculation that the singer has been lying about her age. Theories suggesting Bey is actually older than we thought have been floating around for some time, but in an interview, Matthew appears to have made the revelation that his daughter is not actually the age we've been led to believe. Chatting to The Breakfast Club on America's 104.5 radio, Matthew said, "We signed to Daryl Simmons, who is partners with L.A. Reid and Babyface. These guys had this competitiveness. L.A., he had a girls group. Bet you don't know who his lead singer was. Pink. She's the exact same age as Beyonce. There used to be this battle, which group was better. Usher, he was the same age. They were all 14 or 15 years old." Now, if Matthew's claims of that are true, it means Beyonce has been fooling us all this whole time, and she's actually a lot older than we thought. Now, a Good Morning America host alluded to the singer being older than she says back in 2013. In a segment about her new album at the time, the host revealed that Beyonce had gone to school with fellow anchor Bianca Goldiga, who was 35 at the time, a time when Beyonce supposedly would have been age 32. Now, Beyonce's age has been a source of speculation for many years, complete with alleged birth certificate leaks and celebrity sources. Gabrielle Union, who is 9 years older than Beyonce, has said they were friends when they were teenagers and apparently went to high school together. Now, typically, of course, it tends to be women who deem it necessary to lie about their age, while the difference between Pink and Beyonce is only a measly 2 years or so. But, by the time you're closing down on 50, those years matter more. Messing with the numbers early on makes it a lot easier to simply stop at 43 and refuse to age any further. It's as if, as a performer, if you reach 50, you'd stop being considered for shows or concerts, which, let's be honest, that's not true in today's day and age because, example, take J-Lo, she's in her 50s and still performing. Or the other worry I would imagine most women up in age would have be concerned about would be whether you'd be vilified or shamed for performing in provocative outfits or collaborating with another artist who is much younger. As we know, the internet always has something to say and people will judge no matter what. So the fear of being canceled is very much alive and well in 2025 and likely for the next decade. Now, Paloma Faith, who is a singer, songwriter, and actress, explained that she lied about her age in one of her early meetings with the record label. She said, "When I was asked what my age was in the first meeting, I blurted out 23 when I was actually 27. Actress and former model Agnes Dean was also open about the unofficial but pervasive, tidbits of the modeling industry. She said she knocked off 6 years at the beginning of her career. She was 24 when she was signed by a New York agent and aware that this is perceived as late, to be starting out. She said she was 18, basically, is what she told them. Now, this was revealed when school friends actually started a Facebook group titled Agnes Dean, You're Not 18. That is a lot of free time on your hands to go and make a whole Facebook page dedicated to calling someone out for lying about their age. LOL. Let's talk about the footage that took the internet by storm. This footage wasn't seen until, well, it was, but it's worth mentioning in case you've never heard about it. This would be the rumors that Beyonce faked her pregnancy with Blue Ivy. Fake bump or not, the bizarre speculation over Beyonce's pregnancy only highlights the weird world of celebrity births. Now, Beyonce continues to this day to say those fake pregnancy rumors that set the internet on fire were just crazy. She went on the record to say, "Where did they come up with this?" Fans Fans fell into a tizzy when her stomach allegedly folded while sitting down on Australian TV, spurring rumors that she wasn't actually pregnant. She claims it was the fabric itself that folded. Now, to give more context, during a segment on the Australian talk show Sunday Night HD, Beyonce's baby bump appeared to collapse or basically fold in on itself when she sat down, sparking speculation about the authenticity of her pregnancy. The incident fueled rumors that Beyonce was wearing a prosthetic belly or had hired a surrogate, with some suggesting she was trying to mislead the public about the progression of her pregnancy. Now, Beyonce's publicist, Yvette Noel Schur, responded to the rumors, stating that the claims were stupid, ridiculous, and false. Well, Blue was brought into the world in 2012, as we know, and is absolutely following in her mother's footsteps and has been on Beyonce's tour with her for the past year. I just hope the rumors and controversies don't follow Blue as she grows up, because that's not fair. What do you guys think? Will new footage of Beyonce and Jay-Z surface this year, or will they stay out of the spotlight?
First off, we have Wendy Williams. When Beyonce was set to release her HBO special, Life is But a Dream, Wendy Williams was quick to say, quote, "I am a Beyonce fan, and I'm gonna watch her upcoming documentary, because fortunately, one of the TVs in our kitchen has closed captioning, so I'll be able to understand what she says." The audience began laughing nervously before Williams went in for the kill. Beyonce can't talk. She sounds like she has a 5th grade education, she says. This did not go over so well with Wendy's audience, who responded with several boos. "Excuse me, I just said I was a fan," she says, "but we have to call a spade a spade." Williams' comments did not go over well with the Beyonce fans. It was also picked up by several media outlets who reported on Williams' commentary. Next up, we have Azealia Banks. Azealia has a lot to say about everything and anything, except her own music that apparently is not doing too well. In 2016, following the release of Beyonce's award-winning album Lemonade, Azealia was quick to respond to writer Ta-Nehisi Coates' praise of Beyonce's work. "I don't think for a second that Beyonce was intelligent enough to come up with any of those ideas on her own," she tweeted. But there's an update on the Azealia Banks Beyonce drama, as just a few weeks ago, Azealia made another comment about her. Beyonce announced details of her new album, Renaissance Act 2, during the Super Bowl, and as soon as the advertisement concluded, Beyonce released the project's first 2 songs, Texas Hold'em and 16 Carriages. And the banjo twang of the former and the slow pacing of the latter both seem to confirm ongoing speculation that Beyonce was planning on releasing a country album. Now, Azealia Banks has spoken up, warning her fellow performer that she was making a huge mistake. In an Instagram stories post, she said about the new material, quote, "Nothing country about it. You're setting yourself up to be ridiculed again. There's a theatrical element to country music. The critics are not going to accept an ugly blonde wig and bullying from Jay-Z. It's giving big time musical grift. Yes, black girls can make country music," she continued, "but you're just really not hitting the button." Our next point is not about a celebrity, but actually about a movement that's insane. There's a movement going around for the last decade that believes that Beyonce is associated with the Illuminati and is trying to take down America. Beyonce and her husband Jay-Z have long been the subject of conspiracy theories and wild fantasies. The idea is that the two are members of the Illuminati and are secretly ushering a revolution, a new world order, and brainwashing the public through their music videos and dance routines. Untangling the complexities of the Illuminati conspiracy would require its own video, but in a nutshell, conspiracy theorists allege that the world is run by an ancient cabal of cultists who communicate through secret signals, sometimes concealed within the music videos. But it's a bit weird that these supposedly all-powerful celebs can't just speak privately or send text messages to, but essentially that is the idea. For several years, Jay-Z has, during his performances, made a hand signal that forms a triangle. This is supposedly meant to represent a diamond and has become synonymous with Jay-Z and his record label. Occasionally though, Beyonce will also flash this hand signal, likely in support of her husband. Thus, conspiracy theorists believe that both Jay-Z and Beyonce are in the Illuminati. Next up, let's discuss Beyonce's fake pregnancy. TMZ alleged that Beyonce's 2011 pregnancy was fake. I know it sounds insane, but in 2011, the internet was buzzing with rumors that Beyonce was not really pregnant and that she was wearing a fake stomach in an elaborate cover-up scheme. A controversial video actually went viral online, and that even fueled the fire more. Beyonce appeared on an Australian TV show called Sunday Night wearing a tight red dress that accentuated her baby bump. But when she sits down in her chair, her baby bump appears to collapse inward, leading many to believe that it's not her real stomach after all, but a prosthetic device intended to deceive. But why would she be fake pregnant? There were rumors that she had hired a surrogate mother to carry the kid so she didn't have to put her body through the strains of being pregnant. Next up, we have Kid Rock. The born-free and cowboy singer threw some serious shade at Beyonce in an interview with Rolling Stone, published a few years ago after the release of his new album, First Kiss. He told Rolling Stone he is, quote, flabbergasted by the attention she receives. Beyonce to me doesn't have an effing purple rain, but she's the biggest thing on earth, he says. How can you be that big without at least one Sweet Home Alabama? People are like, Beyonce's hot. She got a nice butt. I'm like, cool. I like skinny white chicks. Doesn't really do much to me. Beyonce has not responded to Kid Rock's very offensive remarks. However, the Beyonce fans have taken action to defend their Grammy Award-winning queen in a way only Beyonce fans could, by flooding Kid Rock's Instagram page with bee emojis. And then Kid Rock posted a photo of bee repellent. Yikes. Next up, we have Piers Morgan. When Beyonce released Lemonade in 2016, Azalea Banks was not the only celebrity who wasn't pleased with her. In a Daily Mail article, Piers Morgan criticized Beyonce by calling her militant. In a tweet sharing the article, Morgan said, quote, I prefer the old Beyonce, the one who didn't use grieving mothers to shift records and further fill her already massively enriched purse. Morgan also recalls interviewing Beyonce at President Barack Obama's inaugural ball and meeting a very bright, warm, funny, sharp star that pains to be seen as an entertainer and musician and not as a black woman who sings. He remembers the singer when asked if she ever experienced racism in her childhood, saying, I feel with my career I've broken barriers. I don't think people think about my race anymore. Now it seems to be the complete opposite, Piers says. The new Beyonce wants to be seen as a black woman activist first and foremost, and then entertainer and musician second. He then questions Beyonce's intentions for showing the grieving mothers of Mike Brown and Trayvon Martin in her video for Lemonade, contending that both women were exploited to promote the album. Next up, let's discuss Solange Knowles, Beyonce's sister. In a viral video years and years ago, Solange was seen hitting Beyonce's husband Jay-Z in an elevator after he allegedly cheated on Beyonce. Jay-Z's album 444 alluded to him being unfaithful. He wrote, look, I apologize, I often womanize, took for my child to be born to see through a woman's eyes. The rapper and Beyonce had planned to do a joint album years ago, but ended up doing solo records instead. We were using our art almost like a therapy session, and we started making music together. And then the music that she was making at the time was further along, so her album came out as opposed to the joint album that we were working on. Next up, we have 50 Cent. 50 Cent has never come out and said the words I hate Beyonce, but during multiple interviews over the years, the rapper has implied he's not the biggest fan of Queen Bee or her husband Jay-Z. Speaking to People in 2015, 50 Cent defended the Grammys' decision to award Album of the Year to Beck over Beyonce's album, saying Beck produced his own record. He wrote it. There's 11 producers on Beyonce's album. That is a fair analysis and not necessarily an insult, but let's dig a little deeper. A year prior, as Beyonce and Jay-Z tried to move on from leaked security footage showing Beyonce's sister Solange attacking Jay-Z in an elevator, 50 Cent publicly recalled a time Beyonce allegedly confronted him inside a Las Vegas nightclub. One time, Beyonce jumped off of a ledge and came running over because she thought me and Jay-Z were having issues, he told a radio station. And I'm like, what the F? Did she really just bump and run up on me like that? She bugged out at me. Next up, we have Etta James. Beyonce earned arguably the best reviews of her entire movie career playing legendary singer Etta James in the 2008 flick Cadillac Records. She even attended the Los Angeles premiere of the movie with Etta James, suggesting that the two were on friendly terms, at least professionally. Apparently, this was not the case. During a 2009 concert, Etta James, who died in 2012, made it very clear she was not happy about Beyonce singing her iconic 1961 song At Last at President Barack Obama's inaugural ball in 2008. I tell you, that woman he had singing for him, singing my song, she's gonna get her butt whipped, she says. The great Beyonce, I cannot stand her. Etta James said Beyonce has, quote, no business being up there singing on a big ol' President Day and singing my song that I have been singing forever. First off, we have Keyshia Cole. In 2013, when Beyonce released Bow Down, one of the people who were not pleased with her was fellow singer Keyshia Cole. In a series of tweets, Cole called Beyonce out. I can't stand when people are all self-righteous when it's convenient and it makes them good. First, women need to stick together. This girl better bow down, Cole tweeted, alleging that Beyonce was being hypocritical. Next up, we have Donald Trump, former president of the United States. Donald Trump is not in the good books of many celebs, Beyonce included. In 2016, when he was running for office, he didn't have most celebrities' support. And if his 2019 Minneapolis rally speech is anything to go by, he didn't need them apparently. At the rally, Trump sent some words in the direction of Beyonce, Jay-Z, and even Bruce Springsteen, who rallied behind Hillary Clinton. I didn't need Beyonce and Jay-Z. I didn't need little Bruce Springsteen, Trump said. I really like Jay-Z, but there is trouble in paradise. When his wife's sister starts whacking him, it's not good. No help from Beyonce leads to a mess, is another quote Trump said in 2014 after Solange Knowles, Beyonce's sister, was caught attacking Jay-Z in an elevator after he was allegedly caught cheating on Beyonce. But why are we caring about what Donald Trump says anyway when he has said mean things to nearly every single celebrity out there? Years ago, when discussing Angelina Jolie, Trump said, quote, I'm not saying she's an unattractive woman, but she's not beauty by any stretch of the imagination. And now she's like a representative of the United Nations and world peace on hunger and all this crap. It's called give me a break. But she's not, in terms of beauty, she's not a great beauty. She's okay, but she's not a great beauty. I really understand beauty. I do own Miss Universe. I own Miss USA. Wow. In the history of every negative comment said about Beyonce, perhaps Carlos Santana's words reign supreme, and not in a good way. In an interview with the New Zealand Herald, Santana said, I think Adele won a Grammy because she can sing. With all respect to our sister Beyonce, Beyonce is very beautiful to look at, and it's more a modeling kind of music. She's not a singer. One-hit wonder Kia, known for her 2001 My Neck, My Back, had some things to get off her chest following the release of Beyonce's Lemonade. First of all, the video was tired, she says, and through and long, and it made black people look bad as hell. You're walking around with this blonde hair, but you want African kings and queens in your videos? Interesting. Our next point is not about a celebrity, but about a movement that believes Beyonce is associated with the Illuminati and is trying to take down America. Beyonce and her husband Jay-Z have long been the subject of conspiracy theories and wild fantasies. The idea is that the two are members of the Illuminati and are secretly ushering a revolution, a new world order, brainwashing the public through music videos and dance routines. Untangling the complexities of the Illuminati conspiracy would require its own video, but in a nutshell, conspiracy theorists allege that the world is run by an ancient cabal of cultists who communicate through secret signals, sometimes concealed within music videos. It's a bit weird that these supposedly all-powerful people can't just speak privately or send text messages to one another, but that is essentially the idea. For several years, Jay-Z has, during his performances, made a hand signal that forms a triangle. This is supposedly meant to represent a diamond and has been synonymous with Jay-Z and his record label. Occasionally, Beyonce will also flash the hand signal, likely in support of her husband. Thus, conspiracy theorists believe that Jay-Z's iconic iconic hand signal is secretly signaling his devotion to the Illuminati. It's no secret that Jay-Z is a bit of a ladies' man. He's been in the spotlight, so his relationships have had some light shown on them as well. Blue Cantrell was one of his most widely talked about exes, and she definitely threw some shade when she made comments about the connection between her name and that of Beyonce's daughter, Blue Ivy. Her sarcastic comment about how she, quote, loved their child's name raised a few eyebrows and surely ruffled Beyonce's feathers. In 2003, Blue Cantrell launched a blistering attack on chart rival Beyonce, claiming the Destiny's Child beauty was, quote, ripping me off. Cantrell was fuming after hearing Beyonce's 2003 single Baby Boy because she believed it was far too similar to her own #1 hit, Breathe. Both songs are edgy R&B tunes featuring dancehall star Sean Paul. She moans, Beyonce is talented and beautiful and I'm a fan, but she has a song out which is really similar to mine. She uses words which are in the hook of my song, and if she's that talented, she wouldn't have to copy somebody else. Her song Baby Boy has the exact word breathe in the hook. She's ripping me off, but there is no animosity because I'm a really positive person. However, I'm a little disappointed because she is established and didn't have to do that, but she won't get away with plagiarizing me because I am a #1 artist. Blue's anger is increased because Beyonce chose to use Sean Paul in her song as well, and she reckoned that his presence was a direct dig at her. She added, now she is doing a song with Sean Paul because I'm linked with Sean Paul, so I don't know what her intentions are. I'm not tit for tat like that. I don't waste my time sitting around trying to think about what Beyonce is thinking. Next up, we have megastar Taylor Swift. Queen Bee's fans accused the Me singer of copying Beyonce's 2018 Coachella set with her performance at the Billboard Music Awards in 2019, both of which heavily featured drum lines and very similar choreography. I see Taylor Swift is doing the great value version of Beyonce's Homecoming, one Twitter user joked. But Beyonce is not the only celebrity that Taylor has allegedly ripped off. After Taylor released Shake It Off, she was met with a lawsuit after another band accused her of stealing their song. The lawsuit was filed by Sean Hall and Nathan Butler, the songwriters behind Playas Gonna Play, a 2000 track by the R&B group 3LW that contains the lines Playas they gonna play and haters they gonna hate. They accused Swift of using those lines without permission or credit on Shake It Off, which was released in 2014 and became one of her defining hits, notching 4 weeks at #1 on the Billboard chart. After Taylor released her album Red, singer Matt Nathanson claims that Taylor stole many lyrics from his music. One of Swift's songs from her album Red, entitled All Too Well, includes the line, and I forget about you long enough to forget why I needed to, which Nathanson claims is more or less the same as a part of his 2003 song I Saw, and I'll forget about you long enough to forget why I need to, almost identical lyrics. He tweeted about the coincidence but has since deleted the message. Nathanson returned to Twitter to share his thoughts after and said, so far my favorite thing about today is the wave of Taylor Swift fans calling me a prick on Twitter for writing my song I Saw in 2003. Taylor is a self-proclaimed fan of Nathan's and has been seen at some of his concerts with lyrics to his music written on her arms. In a now deleted tweet, Nathanson wrote, quote, she's definitely a fan and now she's a thief. Now back to Beyonce. Our next Beyonce hater is 50 Cent. 50 Cent has never come out and said the words I hate Beyonce, but during multiple interviews over the years, the rapper has implied he's not the biggest fan of Queen Bee or her husband Jay-Z. Speaking to People in 2015, 50 Cent defended the Grammys' decision to award Album of the Year to Beck over Beyonce, saying Beck produced his record, he wrote the record. There's 11 producers on Beyonce's album. That is a fair analysis and not necessarily an insult, but let's dig a little deeper. A year prior, as Beyonce and Jay-Z tried to move on from leaked security footage showing Beyonce's sister Solange attacking Jay-Z in an elevator, 50 Cent publicly recalled a time Beyonce allegedly confronted him inside a Las Vegas nightclub. One time Beyonce jumped off a ledge and came running over because she thought me and Jay had issues, he told radio station Power 105.1, and I'm like, what the F? F did she really just jump and run up on me like that? She bugged out at me. Next up, we have Sana Lathan, who apparently bit Beyonce at a party. You heard that right, she bit Beyonce. Although Sana denies this, she also said she is not bothered by the rumors, linking her to the hashtag #WhoBitBeyonce movement. The actress appeared on the cover of Health magazine years ago, where she broke her silence on how she felt about the reports that she allegedly was the actress who bit Beyonce at a Jay-Z concert after party. The wild story gained a lot of steam in the media when Tiffany Haddish recalled her version of the events, but refused to name the attacker. "I think it's the most absurd thing I've ever been involved with," Sonia told the magazine. "Thank God I've been in this business for 20 years and I've had so many rumors about me. They used to devastate me in my 20s, but in order to survive in this business, you just have to let it roll." Lastly, we have Kid Rock. The born free and cowboy rocker threw some serious shade at Beyonce in an interview with Rolling Stone, published years ago after the release of his album First Kiss. He told the music magazine that he is flabbergasted by the attention Beyonce receives. "Beyonce to me doesn't have an effing purple rain, but she's the biggest thing on earth," he says. "How can you be that big without at least one Sweet Home Alabama? People are like, Beyonce's hot, she's got a nice..." I'm like, cool, well I like skinny white chicks. Doesn't really effing do much for me. Beyonce has not responded to Kid Rock's offensive remarks. However, the Beehive, Beyonce's fans, have taken action to defend their Grammy-winning queen in a way only the Beehive would, by flooding his Instagram page with bee emojis. And then Kid Rock posted a photo of bee repellent. First off, we have the 2024 Grammys. While Jay-Z was accepting his award, he took his mic time to look at his wife Beyonce in the audience and asked the Grammys why they have never given her Album of the Year. People were stunned, and so was Beyonce. Body language expert Judy James told The Mirror that Beyonce tried to hide her facial expressions with her white hat during her husband's acceptance speech. The expert believes that, quote, "a loyal husband can be a dangerous thing, no matter how much they show love, plus an intrinsic drive to defend and protect." Judy shared that most women of today's era would prefer to stand up for themselves. Quote, "You can argue Jay-Z has his heart somewhere in the right place in terms of velour, but Beyonce's frozen-looking symmetric smile seems to hint that she might just be feeling as mortified as many women would," she added. Judy shared, "Moaning about not getting an award means next year's awards will be poignant for Beyonce. If she fails again, she'll be hurt. But if she wins it, the hint will be that Jay-Z nailed it for her, rather than her own talent." Beyonce holds the record of winning the most Grammys ever, however, she has never received the Album of the Year award. Next up, we have Jay-Z's cheating scandal. In 2013, rumors came out that the rapper had been cheating, and then there was #ElevatorGate that trended when Solange Knowles attacked Jay-Z while sister Beyonce stayed silent. More recently, Jay-Z's album 444 alluded to him being unfaithful. He wrote, "Look, I apologize, often womanized, took for my child to be born to see through a woman's eyes." The rapper and Beyonce had planned to do a joint album, but ended up doing solo records instead. "We were using our art mostly like a therapy session, and we started making music together. And then the music she was making at that time was further along. So her album came out as opposed to the joint album that we were working on." Next up, we have the Lance Rivera situation. In 1999, Jay-Z was arrested for, let's just call this, putting a knife into the young record executive Lance Rivera. Jay-Z believed Rivera distributed bootlegged copies of his then unreleased album, The Life and Times of S. Carter, which was not supposed to hit stores until later. After committing the crime, Jay-Z turned himself into the police, accompanied by his lawyer. A witness to the altercation said Jay-Z walked up to Rivera and said, "Lance, you broke my heart." Rivera responded with, "What?" before Jay-Z pulled out the knife, according to the witness. Jay-Z pled guilty and faced a 3-year sentence of probation. Next, we have the fact that Jay-Z was a substance dealer, we'll call it, in his teenage years. Speaking to Vanity Fair, Jay-Z opened up about his past, admitting that he was dealing substances to make ends meet. It was everywhere. It was inescapable. There wasn't any place you could go for isolation or a break, he said in an interview. You go in the hallway, there are people using in the hallway. You look out in the puddles on the curbs, everywhere. Jay-Z admitted that while he made a living selling substances, he never once used them. Jay-Z claimed that he did learn some of the business practices he does today from his time dealing the substances. I know about budgets. I was a dealer. To be in a deal, you need to know what you can spend, what you need to re-up. Next up, let's talk about Jay-Z suing Rita Ora for alleging that she still owed 4 more albums. Famous singer Rita Ora was sued by Jay-Z's album label Roc Nation, with Ora alleging the company lost interest after they focused their attention on other ventures such as streaming service Tidal and also a sports management company. Roc Nation's claimed they sunk millions into Rita's career and that she owes them 4 more albums. Ora signed with Roc Nation in 2008 while she was an unknown artist and agreed to deliver 5 albums and has only produced 1. Ora's attorney Howard King said Jay-Z promised Ora, quote, total freedom from the label. In a statement, King believes that Sony Music made Roc Nation file the action to preserve whatever rights Sony had. Roc Nation alleged it was a breach of contract and they demanded $2 million plus be given back along with unspecified damages for the 4 undelivered albums. The lawsuit was settled between the two parties, with Rita Ora possibly signing with a new music label. Next, let's discuss Jay-Z being arrested for gun possession. In April of 2001, Jay-Z and 3 other men were arrested outside a Manhattan nightclub and held on charges of illegal gun possession. Police said that Jay-Z was detained when his bodyguard Hamza Hewitt was allegedly found with a firearm in his waistband. Hewitt, Jay-Z, and 2 other individuals were all charged with 3rd-degree criminal possession. The case was delayed until October 2001 when Jay-Z entered a plea of not guilty and was found not to have been part of the possession, but did face 3 years probation for his 1999 incident with Rivera, which we just talked about. Jay-Z also went under fire for his decision to host his famous Oscars after party in 2022 at the controversial Chateau Marmont Hotel. Every year, the rapper hosts one of the starriest parties of the night, known as the Gold Party, with attendees in previous years including Rihanna, Reese Witherspoon, Kanye West, and Kim K. His last party, which was held pre-pandemic in 2020, was at the Chateau Marmont. But Jay-Z's plans to throw the 2022 event in a lounge space at the Sunset Strip Hotel have been met with criticism due to an ongoing boycott of the property by some of its workers and celebrity guests over alleged racial discrimination at the venue. Kurt Peterson, the boss of workers union Unite Here Local, said in a statement, quote, for Jay-Z to choose the Chateau Marmont for their Gold Party is shockingly insensitive. They must move their event and choose an after-party hotspot that treats its workers, especially black women, with dignity and respect. Jay-Z has a responsibility to do better, he added. We hope Jay-Z joins Gabrielle Union, Issa Rae, Quinta Brunson, Ashley Nicole Black in boycotting Chateau Marmont. The union even organized a picket line outside the bash beginning at 8 p.m. the night of the party. In 2020, The Hollywood Reporter published an investigation of allegations against the Chateau Marmont, with employees claiming that black and Latino visitors were stopped and questioned when they were arrived more than white guests, claims that were confirmed by a representative for comedian Tiffany Haddish. The Chateau's law firm said at the time that workplace issues are regularly raised, as at any business, and swiftly investigated and addressed, adding that a whistleblower line is in place for employees to report issues or concerns directly to outside integrity counsel. Next, let's discuss 4040, Jay-Z's old nightclub. His nightclub 4040 was reported to have bounced checks. In 2003, reports claimed that 2 companies filed separate lawsuits against Jay-Z's nightclub for a total of $46,000 in unpaid bills to the 2 businesses that complained, claiming that they received rubber checks from 21's Inc. the rapper's company. Ronald Mark Associates was to be paid $18 grand for manufacturing 30 custom tables, but only received $5,000. Ron Berkowitz, a spokesman for 4040, downplayed the allegations, claiming the bouncing checks are a bum rap. Berkowitz said one suit was settled for $8,000 on November 2nd, 2003. The second lawsuit was without merit, but said they were countersuing Ronald Mark Associates after they couldn't deliver tables as promised before the opening night. The next point is a bit shocking. Jay-Z reportedly shot his own brother when Jay-Z was only 12 years old. He said he did it because his brother stole one of his rings. How did he get the firearm? I went to someone's crib, someone's house, and got it, Jay-Z said, explaining how easy it was at the time to acquire a firearm. They were everywhere. You didn't have to go far to get one, they were just everywhere. After doing this to his brother, he believed he was going to jail, but his sibling refused to press charges and ended up apologizing to his brother because he was an addict. It was terrible. I was a boy, a child. I was terrified, he said in the interview. Lastly, let's discuss how he reportedly punched a female fan in 1999 at one of his concerts. Yikes. In footage from Jay-Z's concert film, Backstage, a scene from part of the film shows Jay-Z striking a young female fan back in 1999. The rapper appears to slap and then push her in front of him as he walks down a corridor with his entourage. A spokeswoman for the rapper says that the footage was being taken out of context. Speaking to the New York Daily News, she said, quote, "The person in that video is someone who he's worked with for years and they are very, very close. And for it to be exerted like that is an insult." First off, we have the 2024 Grammys. While Jay-Z was accepting his award, he took his mic time to look at his wife Beyonce in the audience and ask the Grammys why they have never given her Album of the Year. People were stunned, and so was Beyonce. Body language expert Judy James told The Mirror that Beyonce tried to hide her facial expressions with her white hat during her husband's acceptance speech. The expert believes that, quote, "A loyal husband can be a dangerous thing, no matter how much they show love, plus an intrinsic drive to defend and protect." Judy shared that most women of today's era would prefer to stand up for themselves. Quote, "You can argue Jay-Z has his heart somewhere in the right place in terms of velour, but Beyonce's frozen-looking symmetric smile seems to hint that she might just be feeling as mortified as many women would," she added. Judy shared, "Moaning about not getting an award means next year's awards will be poignant for Beyonce. If she fails again, she'll be hurt. But if she wins it, the hint will be that Jay-Z nailed it for her rather than her own talent." Beyonce holds the record of winning the most Grammys ever, however, she has never received the Album of the Year award. Next up, we have Jay-Z's cheating scandal. In 2013, rumors came out that the rapper had been cheating, and then there was #ElevatorGate that trended when Solange Knowles attacked Jay-Z while sister Beyonce stayed silent. More recently, Jay-Z's album 444 alluded to him being unfaithful. He wrote, "Look, I apologize, often womanized, took for my child to be born to see through a woman's eyes." The rapper and Beyonce had planned to do a joint album, but ended up doing solo records instead. "We were using our art mostly like a therapy session, and we started making music together. And then the music she was making at that time was further along. So her album came out as opposed to the joint album that we were working on." Next up, we have the Lance Rivera situation. In 1999, Jay-Z was arrested for, let's just call this, putting a knife into the young record executive Lance Rivera. Jay-Z believed Rivera distributed bootlegged copies of his then unreleased album, The Life and Times of S. Carter, which was not supposed to hit stores until later. After committing the crime, Jay-Z turned himself into the police, accompanied by his lawyer. A witness to the altercation said Jay-Z walked up to Rivera and said, "Lance, you broke my heart." Rivera responded with, "What?" before Jay-Z pulled out the knife, according to the witness. Jay-Z pled guilty and faced a 3-year sentence of probation. Next, we have the fact that Jay-Z was a substance dealer, we'll call it, in his teenage years. Speaking to Vanity Fair, Jay-Z opened up about his past, admitting that he was dealing substances to make ends meet. "It was everywhere. It was inescapable. There wasn't any place you could go for isolation or a break," he said in an interview. "You go in the hallway, there are people using in the hallway. You look out in the puddles on the curbs everywhere. Jay-Z admitted that while he made a living selling substances, he never once used them. Jay-Z claimed that he did learn some of the business practices he does today from his time dealing the substances. I know about budgets. I was a dealer. To be in a deal, you need to know what you can spend, what you need to re-up. Next up, let's talk about Jay-Z suing Rita Ora for alleging that she still owed 4 more albums. Famous singer Rita Ora was sued by Jay-Z's album label Roc Nation, with Ora alleging the company lost interest after they focused their attention on other ventures such as streaming service Tidal and also a sports management company. Roc Nation's claimed they sunk millions into Rita's career and that she owes them 4 more albums. Ora signed with Roc Nation in 2008 while she was an unknown artist and agreed to deliver 5 albums and has only produced 1. Ora's attorney Howard King said Jay-Z promised Ora, quote, total freedom from the label. In a statement, King believes that Sony Music made Roc Nation file the action to preserve whatever rights Sony had. Roc Nation alleged it was a breach of contract and they demanded $2 million plus be given back along with unspecified damages for the 4 undelivered albums. The lawsuit was settled between the two parties, with Rita Ora possibly signing with a new music label. Next, let's discuss Jay-Z being arrested for gun possession. In April of 2001, Jay-Z and 3 other men were arrested outside a Manhattan nightclub and held on charges of illegal gun possession. Police said that Jay-Z was detained when his bodyguard Hamza Hewitt was allegedly found with a firearm in his waistband. Hewitt, Jay-Z, and 2 other individuals were all charged with 3rd-degree criminal possession. The case was delayed until October 2001 when Jay-Z entered a plea of not guilty and was found not to have been part of the possession, but did face 3 years probation for his 1999 incident with Rivera, which we just talked about. Jay-Z also went under fire for his decision to host his famous Oscars after party in 2022 at the controversial Chateau Marmont Hotel. Every year, the rapper hosts one of the starriest parties of the night, known as the Gold Party, with attendees in previous years including Rihanna, Reese Witherspoon, Kanye West, and Kim K. His last party, which was held pre-pandemic in 2020, was at the Chateau Marmont. But Jay-Z's plans to throw the 2022 event in a lounge space at the Sunset Strip Hotel have been met with criticism due to an ongoing boycott of the property by some of its workers and celebrity guests over alleged racial discrimination at the venue. Kurt Peterson, the boss of workers union Unite Here Local, said in a statement, quote, for Jay-Z to choose the Chateau Marmont for the Gold Party is shockingly insensitive. They must move their event and choose an after-party hotspot that treats its workers, especially black women, with dignity and respect. Jay-Z has a responsibility to do better, he added. We hope Jay-Z joins Gabrielle Union, Issa Rae, Quinta Brunson, Ashley Nicole Black in boycotting Chateau Marmont. The union even organized a picket line outside the bash beginning at 8 p.m. the night of the party. In 2020, The Hollywood Reporter published an investigation of allegations against the Chateau Marmont, with employees claiming that black and Latino visitors were stopped and questioned when they were arrived more than white guests, claims that were confirmed by a representative for comedian Tiffany Haddish. The Chateau's law firm said at the time that workplace issues are regularly raised, as at any business, and swiftly investigated and addressed, adding that a whistleblower line is in place for employees to report issues or concerns directly to outside integrity counsel. Next, let's discuss 4040, Jay-Z's old nightclub. His nightclub 4040 was reported to have bounced checks. In 2003, reports claimed that 2 companies filed separate lawsuits against Jay-Z's nightclub for a total of $46,000 in unpaid bills to the 2 businesses that complained, claiming that they received rubber checks from 21's Inc., the rapper's company. Ronald Mark Associates was to be paid $18,000 for manufacturing 30 custom tables, but only received $5,000. Ron Berkowitz, a spokesman for 4040, downplayed the allegations, claiming the bouncing checks are a bum rap. Berkowitz said one suit was settled for $8,000 on November 2nd, 2003. The second lawsuit was without merit, but said they were countersuing Ronald Mark Associates after they couldn't deliver tables as promised before before the opening night. The next point is a bit shocking. Jay-Z reportedly shot his own brother when Jay-Z was only 12 years old. He said he did it because his brother stole one of his rings. How did he get the firearm? I went to someone's crib, someone's house, and got it, Jay-Z said, explaining how easy it was at the time to acquire a firearm. They were everywhere. You didn't have to go far to get one, they were just everywhere. After doing this to his brother, he believed he was going to jail, but his sibling refused to press charges and ended up apologizing to his brother because he was an addict. It was terrible. I was a boy, a child. I was terrified, he said in the interview. Lastly, let's discuss how he reportedly punched a female fan in 1999 at one of his concerts. Yikes. In footage from Jay-Z's concert film, Backstage, a scene from part of the film shows Jay-Z striking a young female fan back in 1999. The rapper appears to slap and then push her in front of him as he walks down a corridor with his entourage. A spokeswoman for the rapper says that the footage was being taken out of context. Speaking to the New York Daily News, she said, quote, "The person in that video is someone who he's worked with for years and they are very, very close. And for it to be exerted like that is an insult."
Lying about writing a song. In a 2008 interview with Marie Claire UK, Beyonce implied that some of the lyrics to her 2006 single, Irreplaceable, weren't actually aimed at Jay-Z. But then controversy arose over the writing credits on Irreplaceable. Now, singer-songwriter Ne-Yo told MTV apparently Beyonce was at a show somewhere, and right before the song came on she said, "I wrote this for all my ladies," and then the song came on. The song is a co-write, I wrote the lyrics, I wrote all the lyrics. Beyonce helped me with the melodies and the harmonies and the vocal arrangement, and that makes it a co-write. Meaning my contribution and her contribution made the song what it is. Now in 2011, Ne-Yo said he wrote the song for himself, but thought that it would be better suited for Beyonce. Now some of Beyonce's fans read Ne-Yo's remarks as disrespectful towards her. However, he clarified his comment later through Twitter, writing, "I said I originally wrote the song for me. Once I realized how the song comes across if sung by a guy, that's when I decided to give it away." Next up is the tone-deaf performance. Beyonce took part in a 9/11 memorial concert in New York City, but many people believe her performing her song Diva was in poor taste and wonder why she didn't get cancelled. In the track she says, "No passengers on my plane," as well, "This is a stick-up," which she fiercely sang in front of the families of 9/11 victims while putting her arms out like an airplane. The crowd got quiet back there, with someone noting under the YouTube's clips comments, "The literal buildings on the screen falling down, WTF," referring to the set's backdrop. Now a Redditor also wrote, "But how is this the first time I've heard of this? This is genuinely one of the more tone-deaf performances I've seen. Who greenlit this?" Now a commenter said that Jay-Z was to blame as he produced the concert, but yeah, that's just not a good look at all. Then there's Nothing Happened in the Elevator. In 2014, security footage was released of Solange attacking her brother-in-law Jay-Z in an elevator at a Met Gala after party. Now Beyonce was there as well, stuck between her sister and her husband, but chose not to intervene and stood there as the two duked it out. Now the family attempted to brush it under the rug with a vague PR statement, but it became a pop culture moment. Now Beyonce even references the altercation in her song Flawless remix, saying, "Of course sometimes go down when it's $1 billion on an elevator." Now we still haven't found out the reason why Solange attacked Jay-Z, but fans have speculated that she was angry with his infidelity to Beyonce, but nothing has ever been confirmed that was the reason why she attacked him. Now we have stealing songs. Beyonce's album Renaissance was met with multiple critiques after its release. Just one day after the album dropped, Khalees slammed Beyonce for using a sample of her 2003 hit song Milkshake, allegedly without her permission. On Instagram she wrote, "My mind is blown too because the level of disrespect and utter ignorance of all three parties involved is astounding. I heard about this the same way everyone else did. Nothing is ever as it seems. Some of the people in this business have no soul or integrity, and they have everyone fooled. It's not about me being jealous, it has to do with the fact from one artist to another that you should have the decency and common sense and courtesy to call. There are bullies and secrets and gangsters in this industry that smile and get away with it until someone says enough is enough." Khalees also called out producers Pharrell Williams and Chad Hugo at the same time. But it's clear that most fans just focused on her beef with Beyonce. Though neither Beyonce nor her team publicly commented on the post, they ended up removing the sample from the Spotify version of Energy in August 2022, but to this day you can still find it on Apple Music. Moving on to the Dubai performance. When Beyonce returned to the stage for her first live performance in 5 years, it really left fans divided. Now, to give you some background, her album Renaissance was labeled as a celebration of queer culture and made in collaboration with some of the LGBTQ community's biggest names. Now, it pays tribute to dance music that emerged out of the gay community and also references the 1800s drag ballrooms in Harlem, New York. So when the location for Beyonce's long-awaited concert was revealed, it did not sit well with many of her fans. Now, she was reportedly paid around $25 million to perform at a star-studded private launch event for Dubai's Hotel Atlantis the Royal. While many fans rejoiced at Beyonce's return to the stage, others pointed out the hypocrisy of performing in the UAE, where same-sex relationships are flat-out illegal. Freelance music journalist Abigail Firth spoke to BBC News Beat about the controversy and pointed to the fact that Beyonce's recent work is indebted to LGBT culture. She said, "It seems like a really misguided choice from her. She's obviously a multimillionaire anyway. She didn't really need to do this. She didn't really need the money." And that's probably where some of the backlash is stemming from as well. Then there's her rude lyrics. In August of 2022, Beyonce announced that she would change the lyrics to her song Heated after backlash from disability rights activists. The track includes a slang term derived from an ableist word, which is considered a slur among people with cerebral palsy. Now, at the time, her team released a statement saying, "The word not used intentionally in a harmful way will be replaced." Not only that, but Beyonce has also had other slip-ups with controversial lyrics. When her 2013 song Partition dropped, Monica Lewinsky complained about being in the song, which of course referenced her 1998 scandal. In an essay for Vanity Fair, she wrote, "Thanks Beyonce, but if we're verbing, I think you meant Bill Clinton all on my gown." Now let's talk about the insensitive song. Speaking of inappropriate lyrics, this one got her in even more trouble. The song XO from Beyonce's 2013 album begins with audio of NASA's officer talking about a major malfunction involving the Challenger space shuttle, which exploded just over a minute after its launch. 7 astronauts passed away in the tragic incident, so it seemed a little insensitive for Beyonce to use the audio in her song. Now, in a statement to ABC News, the singer tried to explain that she intended for the audio to be a tribute to those who died aboard the Challenger. "My heart goes out to the families of those lost in the Challenger disaster," she said at the time. The song XO was recorded with the sincerest intention to help heal those who have lost loved ones and to remind us that unexpected things happen, so love and appreciate every minute that you have with those who mean the most to you. The songwriters included the audio in tribute to the unselfish work of the Challenger crew with the hope that they will never be forgotten. Now we have stealing performances. Beyonce's 2011 Billboard Music Awards performance was one for the books, but it did cause some controversy. She did a rendition of Run the World Girls, but then she was accused of copying Italian singer Lorella Cuccari in a performance she did 1 year prior in 2010. They later explained being inspired by her, adding that she had no intentions of stealing her stunning visuals. "My makeup artist showed me the performance of Lorella Cuccari a year ago, and it inspired me so much. I then met with the talented people who worked on it. The technology and concept were so genius. Thank God for YouTube, or I would have never been exposed to something so inspiring. I've never worked so hard on anything in my life as that performance for the Billboard Awards," she told AOL Music following the backlash. But being inspired and directly copying, though, are two different things. Up next is stealing visuals. Beyonce, Sony, Columbia, and the pop stars Parkwood Entertainment were all sued by indie filmmaker Matthew Folks over the visuals to her 2016 album Lemonade. Now, according to Matthew, Beyonce jacked 9 scenes from his film Paranoia. He also claimed that he sent Parkwood Entertainment the short film, so he knows that several employees who worked on Lemonade had access to it. Now, 1 month after his June 2016 filing, Beyonce's attorneys hit back, arguing visuals including graffiti and person with heads down, a parking garage, and side-lit ominous figures do not fall under copyright infringement. Now, they also argued that the narrative was completely different, as Lemonade dealt with portraying an African-American woman who progresses through stages of suspicion, denial, anger, and ultimately reconciliation in her relationship. Now, the US District Judge Jed Rakoff agreed, dismissing the suit in September 2016, but hey, I can see the similarities. And finally, we have Jay-Z's infidelity. Throughout Beyonce's and Jay-Z's relationship, there's been much speculation about them breaking up, cheating, and getting divorced. Though the couple have never directly addressed the claim, Beyonce pretty much confirmed it on her album Lemonade, with the lyrics including, "This is your final warning, you know I give you life, if you try this again, you gon' lose your wife, and he only want me when I'm not there, he better call Becky with the good hair." Yeah, this is her pretty much deciding to call him out for cheating, and he did, he confirmed it. He said, "I was really proud of the music she made, and she was really proud of the art I released, and you know, at the end of the day, we have a really healthy respect for one another's craft. I think she's amazing," Jay-Z told T Magazine in 2017. He said, "You know, most people walk away, and like divorce rate is 50% or something, cause most people can't see themselves. The hardest thing is seeing the pain on someone's face that you caused, and then having to deal with it yourself. We did the hard work of going to therapy, we love each other, so we really put in the work for years. I like to believe that we're in a better place today, and I'm proud of the father and husband that I am today." While Jay-Z is being exposed for all these terrible things, it's affecting Beyonce a lot, and it's not a good look for her. Now, we all know that Jay-Z has been friends with Diddy for years. They became friends in the 90s and they collaborated on multiple projects together. They became two of the biggest names in the music industry as they each had their own labels. Diddy founded Bad Boy Entertainment, launched in 1993, and Jay-Z's Rockefeller Records, founded a year later. Now, surprisingly though, there was no rivalry among the two rappers, who remained supportive of each other's work. Now, from there, their bond just grew. After a photo of Diddy and Jay-Z chatting it up during his birthday party was showcased at the Rock and Roll of Hip Hop exhibition, Diddy opened up about his friendship with the fellow rapper and said, "That was one of my birthday parties, and I was just telling him I appreciate him coming." He further added he was on tour and he flew in private after one of his shows just to come to the party, then he had to fly back out. "I was just telling him how much I appreciate it and how much I value our friendship. People see us as competitors and different icons in the hip hop game, but that was just a moment of two black brothers telling each other how much they appreciate each other." Their bond was strong, and Jay-Z even got Beyonce involved in the friendship. Now, the power couple would be seen at a bunch of Diddy's parties, where they would even debut some of their new music there. I mean, in the past couple of years, they were still praising each other in the public, as Diddy was honored with a Lifetime Achievement Award at the 2022 BET Awards. Jay-Z paid a special tribute to him with a video. Now, with their friendship on full display, it shocked people that Jay-Z nor Beyonce spoke up when Diddy's houses were raided in March or when he was arrested in September. Now, some people called this out, like 50 Cent. He posted a picture of the rapper's face on a milk carton with the words "missing" on Instagram and added in the caption, "Anybody seen Jay? LOL," joking he ain't been answering his phone. Now, many people were waiting for Jay-Z to speak up, and because he didn't, people started to suspect that he had something to do with the crimes Diddy committed. I mean, they partied and were together a lot. This would certainly be plausible. Now, we finally got the answer on December 8th, as Jay-Z was named in a refiled lawsuit against Diddy. Now, the general public knew about this lawsuit in October, but new details emerged that placed Jay-Z as a perpetrator of the crime committed alongside Diddy. The anonymous accuser, identified only as Jane Doe, said the incident happened after she was driven to an MTV Video Music Awards afterparty in the year 2000. After the awards, she was driven to a White House where she had to sign an NDA. There, she said she was offered a drink that made her feel woozy, lightheaded, and it felt like she needed to lie down, so she went into a room to rest. Shortly afterwards, the suit says Diddy and Jay-Z entered the room, with Diddy saying, "You're ready to party." That's when she alleges she was taken advantage of by both men, while an unnamed female celebrity watched. Now, could that female celebrity be Beyonce? Just maybe. Now, after the alleged incident, the suit says Jane Doe grabbed her clothes and left. She made her way to a gas station where she called her father. Now, this sounds extremely real, as a former party planner for Diddy, who worked for him during 2004 and 2005 and wished to remain anonymous, spoke to some news outlets about the disgraced musicians' parties. They stated that women attending these parties were subjected to weight checks. We would do a weigh-in if necessary. The girls had to be young and hot, so I always had a scale nearby in case I needed to make sure. The number was 140 pounds, but if a girl was really tall, there was a little bit of discretion involved, said the planner, adding that the other requirements included no flab, no cellulite, not overly pierced or tattooed, and no short hair. Now, seems like this Jane Doe fit the description of exactly what Diddy wanted. It was also revealed that Diddy would make people sign NDAs to attend his parties. A document released showed that guests were issued strict rules on discussing Diddy, his associates, and any activities or individuals present at his events. The NDA reportedly forbade guests from sharing any information about Diddy, his family members, current or former partners, or friends. Now, under the agreement, attendees were restricted from taking photos, filming, or recording anything at these events without his written consent. Now, something that makes these NDAs quite unique is that it's enforceable for either 70 years or the artist's lifetime plus an additional 20 years, whichever is longer. Now, this is a duration that is far exceeding standard NDAs. Now, Jay-Z was actually spotted the day after the lawsuit was filed. Jay attended the premiere of a movie with Beyonce where their daughter Blue Ivy voiced one of the characters. It was the first time Jay-Z had been spotted in public since the accusations, and sources with direct knowledge told the Post that before the allegations, it was rumored that Jay-Z and Beyonce were not planning on going to the premiere. However, they appear to have a change of heart after the lawsuit. Beyonce forced Jay-Z to go to the premiere last night, an insider told DailyMail.com. They're working with a crisis specialist who's advising them on how to handle this. Beyonce believes that the best way is to face it head on. Blue Ivy is well aware of what's going on and is intent on supporting her father in any way she can. She was there in solidarity with her dad and mom. Beyonce will do anything she can to keep their family together, but is also concerned that more women might come forward with lies. So it seems like Beyonce is standing with her husband, but this just makes her look really bad and even guilty. Like mentioned before, she had attended plenty of Diddy parties herself. Now, Beyonce and Jay-Z once attended one of Diddy's New Year's Eve parties, and the couple spent time with Diddy ringing in the new year of 2014 in Miami. Now, the weird thing is there are articles about them being there, but all the photos of the night have disappeared. Strange, right? Well, in one article, it said that Jay-Z and Beyonce were off in a corner dancing and greeting people, an insider said. Drake came with a posse of friends and took over the turntables, and T.I. and Jamie Foxx were chatting and hanging out during the event. Pharrell Williams was also in attendance, the source adds. Now, it was reported that Beyonce wasn't wearing any pants, and that some people say she was later seen in the swimming pool, looking dazed and confused. It's just strange all around, and the couple also attended the music mogul's 50th birthday party in 2019. But we've been told by insiders that these parties are not what they seem, and that a lot of messed up things happen at them. Former music industry insider Tom Swoop had attended a couple of the parties, and he shared with the public what would happen behind the scenes. He broke down how the parties worked for viewers and claimed that the parties were separated into tiers of access. There was general admission, then a series of tiers ending with entrance to the inner circle, where the real partying went on. Now, this allegedly included humiliating male and female guests on the promise of record deals or money. Yeah, now why does this kind of sound like a cult or some sort of ritual? Ugh, I do not like it. Now, Tom went on to say that there were a lot of substances present and that Diddy played a horrible so-called joke on a young artist. He said Diddy wanted the artist to do a certain act, and if he did it, Diddy would give him $100,000 and a record deal, before claiming it was a joke when the young artist was about to do it. Tom claimed Diddy told him, "I can make anybody do anything because this life is what they want, and I got the keys to the castle." Now, Tom didn't like any of this though, so he left the party thinking, if this what goes on behind the curtain and you're all comfortable with this, nah, I don't want this life. He added there were so many celebrities there who were cool with who he was and what he did to entertain them. It's not isolated, he added. You all need to think of everybody when you think of him and the access and the amount of people who were there. Beyonce and Jay-Z aim for protection when it comes to their careers, but it is the same for their personal lives, as employees must follow their strict rules, like keeping bays dressed dressing room at 78 degrees, and that employees must read a huge handbook that Beyonce wrote herself. Now, we know that Beyonce says that a diva is a female version of a hustler, but it seems like she has some pretty specific demands when it comes to her dressing room when she performs. According to Business Inside, Beyonce's dressing room must be 78 degrees at the start of a performance or anytime she's in the room. Now, I guess the warmth helps her vocal cords, but staff also have to make sure that she has all white furniture, Irish soap from Walgreens, and perfectly scented grapefruit candles, or at least something similar. Why all this? Well, she appears to have a pre-show ritual that includes a stretch, a prayer, and an hour of alone time with her favorite playlist. So it seems like her dressing room setup helps with all of that. And then when she gets off stage, she needs to have at least 2 towels in her dressing room, one for her face and one for her body. Now, she also requests that there be a large table in the dressing room with white table covers so she can eat after her performance. Now, this isn't as crazy as some other celebrities' demands, but it still is shocking. But when it comes to extremes, Beyonce has a handbook for her employees to guide them on what exactly she expects from them. Many sources explain that each employee must read the handbook and sign a contract. Now, Blue Ivy, for example, has her own handbook, The Daily Program of Blue Ivy, as per Miss Carter. Now, it seems like Beyonce doesn't play when it comes to people taking care of her family. Now, this rule book includes how she wants her children to be taken care of. At one point, there were 6 nannies for the twins and 2 for Blue when needed. For the twins, who were born in 2017, each nanny worked in a span of 8-hour shifts around the clock, as according to Beyonce at the time, the twins had separate sleeping patterns. Now, when Blue Ivy was younger, she required 3 nannies as well, but now that she's older, they've employed 2 instead of 3. It really seems like Beyonce and Jay-Z really want their kids to have the best care they can get, and I don't blame them. Now, in 2018, it was revealed that Blue Ivy's personal chef described Blue as a picky eater. According to him, her favorite dish was whole wheat pasta shaped like ballet dancers and pureed asparagus. Then we found out that Blue was not allowed to listen to music during nap time, and that she also must learn another language. It's been reported that Blue has already started learning a variety of different languages, but Beyonce and Jay-Z want her to be fluent in more than 2 languages by the time she's 18. According to a source who's in with the family, Beyonce and Jay have had 2 major job requirements for their nannies. They have to be happy to travel the world with the Carters, and the other main stipulation is that they must be bilingual. They want a French speaker for a number of reasons. The family has a real connection with France, and Beyonce's nephew Jules is a French speaker because his dad is French. Now, it's also been said that since Beyonce requires her nannies to travel with her, a detailed understanding of how to navigate Brooklyn is important. She wants her caregivers to know where the best attractions, museums, and shops are for her children, but also how to get around in ways that will attract as little as attention as possible. Not to mention, at one point, Blue Ivy got to school via her important entourage of security guards and drivers. Now, Blue's entourage included 2 drivers and 3 bodyguards. Yeah. Now, other parents from the school had actually complained, saying that she has too many drivers and guards as they take up all the space and make it complicated for other parents to have a place to stop. Some complained that other celebrity children attend the school as well, but they only have 1 car and 1 driver. But I guess things are different when Beyonce is your mom. People on Beyonce and Jay-Z's team have to be able to keep a secret. I mean, if you work for any celebrity, you have to have discretion, but you have to be extra careful working for the music's most famous couple. For example, Beyonce released a surprise album in 2016. Now, of course, people on the team had to keep it a secret. Not to mention that the album features vocals from Kendrick Lamar, Jack White, James Blake, and The Weeknd. With this many people involved, there probably had to be a lot of NDAs signed, but at the end of the day, it was a surprise, so everyone had the secret well kept. Then there was also the fact that Beyonce kept her first pregnancy a secret. At the VMAs in 2011, Beyonce was a performer. She addressed the crowd before her performance of Love on Top, saying, "Tonight I want you to stand up on your feet. I want you to feel the love that's growing inside of me." Now, at the end of the song, she dropped the mic, unbuttoned her purple sequin blazer, and started rubbing her belly. She was pregnant. Now, Beyonce later told Harper's Bazaar that the reveal was not a spur-of-the-moment decision. She said, "I put a lot of thought in how I wanted to unveil it. It was important to me that I was able to do it myself. I was extremely nervous. It was the toughest red carpet I ever did. I decided to say nothing and proudly show my baby bump. I felt it was more powerful to see the love and enthusiasm as opposed to saying anything." Now, due to this, it became one of the most iconic baby reveals in pop culture history. So just imagine if someone spoiled this. It wouldn't have been that amazing. And I mean, the gender of her baby was actually accidentally revealed by one of her friends, Kelly Rowland. Speaking to Bang Showbiz in 2011, Kelly predicted Jay-Z was going to buy that little girl every single thing possible, inadvertently revealing to the world that the couple had a daughter on the way. Speaking about it later, Kelly said that Beyonce was disappointed about the ordeal. "I felt terrible because it's not my news," Kelly said. "It was honestly the worst. It wasn't my news to share." Now, that was her friend who did that, but if you were an employee who did that, oh, I'm sure you'd be fired right on the spot. But yeah, if you're on her team, you'd have to keep the biggest secrets and not tell a soul. Now, Beyonce likes everything to be perfect, and this includes her looks. She's a perfectionist in everything in her life and likes to have total control. Now, in 2015, a picture went viral from a red carpet event of one of Beyonce's staff members being seen trying to adjust her dress. Now, the staff member was none other than her personal assistant, Jane Greenberg. It was during the title red carpet event that Jane tried to fix Beyonce's dress multiple times, but Beyonce didn't like this though, as you could tell by her demeanor. Then Beyonce actually whispered, "Stop it," and Jane left her dress alone, moving away from the cameras and giving Beyonce back the spotlight. But I mean, she was just trying to help. Now, someone who can't help the couple though are people who worked with Kanye West and Kim Kardashian. Now, when Kim and Kanye were still married at one point, they were really good friends with Beyonce and Jay-Z. But then things changed. Kanye got on stage during one of his performances and basically made a shout out to Jay-Z saying he should call him after all this time. Then he went further by calling out Beyonce for not performing beside him at the 2016 MTV Video Music Awards. Kanye then got upset when the couple didn't call him or Kim after Kim got robbed in Paris. Then more recently, Kanye's political beliefs strayed very far away from what Jay-Z and Beyonce believe, so they also didn't get along due to that. So slowly over the years, they ended up distancing themselves, which, hey, I can't really blame them for. Although Beyonce and Kim have never been friends, through the years they've both been accused by the media of throwing shade at each other. Now, it's also been said that the family will pay you well, but only if you actually work hard and earn it. Jay-Z gave all of his employees $50,000 right before Christmas and gave them Christmas gifts as well in 2013. Combined throughout the year, the couple gave up to $4.6 million in bonus money and gifts, which is super generous. Jay-Z is also known to tip big pretty much anywhere he goes, which is good because a lot of celebrities can be cheapskates. Now, one time he spent $80,000 on a friend's birthday party where staff and everyone else invited all enjoyed dinner and drinks on him. Now, Beyonce, on the other hand, is sometimes more reluctant to give away money so freely, but maybe she should take note of her husband's caring ways.
From lip-syncing scandals to fake pregnancy rumors, Beyonce's reputation has been under a microscope. One video destroyed it all. Let's take a closer look at the moments that have tarnished her halo. Beyonce's rise to fame began at a young age. We all remember her hit R&B group Destiny's Child that her father and ex-manager Matthew Knowles created back in the 90s that skyrocketed Beyonce into stardom. So who would have thought that with her wide range of exceptional vocal talents that she would ever be caught lip-syncing, right? I certainly didn't, and I know millions of others didn't. So that's exactly what happened though, and not only did it happen, but it happened at President Barack Obama's second inauguration in 2013. Beyonce was invited to perform the national anthem, being the Star-Spangled Banner, which would be watched by millions of people around the world, no biggie. Now, many assumed at first, of course, that she was in fact singing live. However, it was later revealed that Beyonce had lip-synced the entire performance, actually singing along to the pre-recorded track of the anthem. Now, the news sparked a heated debate, with some critics accusing Beyonce of being dishonest and lacking integrity, while others defended her, saying that the cold weather and technical issues made it necessary to use a pre-recorded track. Now, according to the Marine Corps band, the decision to use a pre-recorded track was actually made like minutes before the performance. Beyonce also said that she had sung along to the track to ensure that the performance was flawless. Now, when she admitted that she had lip-synced, the singer said she's a perfectionist and wanted her performance for Barack Obama to be a memorable one. Now, she called the day emotional, and she went on to say, "I practiced until my feet bleed, and I did not have time to rehearse with the orchestra. Due to no proper sound check, I did not feel comfortable taking a risk. It was about the president and the inauguration, and I wanted to make him and my country proud. So I decided to sing along with my pre-recorded track," which is very common in the music industry, and I'm very proud of my performance. So, to be fair, and to her defense, the Star Spangled Banner is notoriously difficult piece to sing. It spans such a huge vocal range, and it was also bitterly cold that day in Washington. So the combination of nerves and the cold may have influenced Beyonce's decision to rely on the pre-recorded track. We will forgive you, B, but we won't forget it. Moving on now, Beyonce has been called out many times for sampling songs throughout her career without actually getting permission first. One of the most notable cases is the song Ring the Alarm from her 2006 album B-Day. The song's chorus bears a striking resemblance to the 1995 song Get Me Bodied by Rare Essence, and also samples elements from the 97 song La Di Da Di by Doug E. Fresh and Slick Rick. In 2010, Beyonce was actually sued by songwriter Jennifer Armour, who claimed that Beyonce's song Baby Boy featuring Sean Paul infringed on her own song Love Theme, which was written in 97. Now, another notable one was Beyonce's song Run the World. She was accused of sampling the song Pon de Floor by Major Lazer without properly clearing the sample. But nothing almost ruined her career more than when she sampled the Challenger explosion in her song XO. Begins with audio of NASA's former public affairs officer Steve Nesbitt referring to a major malfunction involving the Challenger space shuttle, which actually exploded just a minute after its launch. NASA said in a statement to The Hollywood Reporter at the time, "The Challenger accident is an important part of our history, a tragic reminder that space exploration is risky and should never be trivialized." Now, in a statement to ABC News in December of 2013, Beyonce explained that she intended for the audio to be a tribute to those who passed away aboard the Challenger. She said at the time, "My heart goes out to the families of those lost in the Challenger disaster. The song XO was recorded with the sincerest intention to help heal those who have lost loved ones and to remind us that unexpected things happen. So love and appreciate every minute that you have with those who mean the most to you." The songwriters included in the audio in tribute to the unselfish work of the Challenger crew with hope that they will never be forgotten. Many critics didn't accept her apology or statement, and many just believed she was being tone deaf and inconsiderate, with one person online saying, "This is not how you honor the crew members. Nobody asked for this," with another person saying, "This is so random and came out of nowhere. She hasn't once spoken about the Challenger incident. She's definitely lying about her intentions." NASA astronauts, employees, and the families of the Challenger astronauts were extremely upset that she used this audio and didn't think it was a well thought out idea. June Scobie Rogers, the widow of Challenger Space Shuttle Commander Dick Scobie, told ABC News at the time, "We were disappointed to learn that an audio clip from the day we lost a heroic Challenger crew was used in the song XO. The moment included in this song is an emotionally difficult one for the Challenger families, colleagues, and friends. We have always chosen to focus not on how our loved ones were lost, but rather on how they lived and how their legacy lives on today." A former NASA employee, Keith Cowing, said, "This choice of historic and solemn audio is inappropriate in the extreme. The choice is little different than taking Walter Cronkite's words to viewers announcing the passing of President Kennedy or 911 calls from attacks and using them for shock value in a pop tune." Beyonce has never spoken out about this since, and because it caused such a media frenzy, people were not only upset about it, of course, but also ready to cancel her completely. It gave a vibe that she was using tragedy to sell records. Next up, we have Bumpgate. When Beyonce was pregnant with daughter Blue Ivy Carter, who will someday likely take over the world, rumors began spreading that one, she faked her pregnancy pregnancy with a prosthetic belly, and 2, had enlisted a surrogate to carry the child. A video that went absolutely viral overnight caused such chaos. The rumor mill went into overdrive when a video of Beyonce's high-definition interview with Australian's Sunday Night HD surfaced online, and honestly, it would have been a rather forgettable chat were it not for one moment at the start of the sit-down when a very pregnant Beyonce took a seat and her bump, well, took a break. When she sits down, you can actually see her stomach deflating, crumpling, and folding in on itself, however you want to describe it. Stills and slow-mos of the seemingly disappearing bumps circulated by the dozens, and conspiracy theories around as to the curious behavior of her baby bump. Was Beyonce wearing different size bellies to throw off the press as to how far along she was? Had she and Jay-Z gone the surrogate route and her seemingly deflating baby bump proved it, or was it something else entirely? Beyonce's publicist Yvette Noel Schur was quick to shut down the conspiracy theories of the masses, telling E! News that sites and rumors suggesting that Jay-Z's better half is wearing a prosthetic or otherwise faking her baby bump are foolish. Beyonce addressed it only once, saying, "That was crazy. It wasn't hurtful. It was just crazy. Where did they come up with this?" Now, Wendy Williams discussed the incident on her talk show and actually had 2 of her staff members who were pregnant at the time, with one of them being due like the same month as Beyonce, sit down in very similar dresses to see if their belly, or I guess fabric, folded in the same way. Both did not, and so that also drew a lot of attention and caused many other people to believe the fake pregnancy rumor. Now, one fan online pointed out that Beyonce has been so secretive about her pregnancy, and that the only footage of her being pregnant was grainy and not clear, and some fans did come to her defense, saying that there was actually a pic of her on the beach in a bikini, but Wendy Williams very clearly pointed out that that photo of her standing in her bikini anyone could replicate if you just stand and push your stomach out enough. Now, some conspiracy theories Wendy talks about is that 1, the baby was to help her depleting music career at the time. Theory number 2, that the baby was to keep Jay-Z's alleged mistress away. Theory number 3, the alleged woman in Trinidad with Jay-Z's son was intimidating to Beyonce, and Beyonce was basically trying to keep up with her. Theory 4, she was going to use a surrogate to maintain her body and not put it under stress. And theory 5, they're adopting, but wanted to play it off like she gave birth. Now, Wendy even predicted it would be an at-home water birth. However, we now know that that didn't happen, as Blue Ivy was born at Lenox Hill Hospital in Manhattan, New York on January 7th, 2012.
Beyonce has dropped Jay-Z's last name among the scandal going on with him. Now, does this mean they're going to get a divorce? Well, here's what we know. Beyonce was recently listed in Forbes' list of most powerful women. People were shocked to see her go by Beyonce Knowles, her maiden name, instead of her official name, Beyonce Knowles Carter. Now, this name change is interesting considering Jay-Z has been accused of committing a pretty horrible crime with his best friend, Diddy. Now, fans noticed this change right away, and some speculated a soft launch name change with comments like, "Let me hear you all say uh-oh," and "Nah, don't forget the Carter." Now, others humorously chimed in, "Everyone say, hey, Miss Knowles." Now, why is Beyonce trying to distance herself from her husband? Well, it all has to do with their friend, Diddy. Jay-Z was just accused of mistreating and taking advantage of a girl in the year 2000 with Diddy. The anonymous accuser, identified only as Jane Doe, said the incident happened after she was driven to an MTV Video Music Awards after party. Now, the federal lawsuit was originally filed in October in the Southern District of New York, listing Diddy as a defendant. What we knew at the time was at the after party, the victim was mistreated by Diddy, while another male celebrity and female celebrity, neither of whom were named in the lawsuit, watched until the victim was able to escape. Now, this case was just refiled on Sunday, December 8th, and it included Jay-Z, aka Sean Carter, in it. It turns out that he was the male celebrity described in the suit. But now some people think the unnamed female celebrity may be Beyonce. Now, the lawsuit says a friend dropped Jane Doe off at the VMAs at Radio City Music Hall. She didn't have a ticket, but she approached various limousine drivers to try to gain access to the show or even just an after party. Now, one driver told her that he worked for Diddy and that she fit what Diddy was looking for. more. He invited her to a party after the show and told her to return to his car in the late evening after he had transported Diddy and Jay-Z. Now later, the driver picked her up, and after 20 minutes they arrived at a white house with a U-shaped driveway, the suit says. Now she then had to sign a document she believes was a non-disclosure agreement on arrival to enter the party, which the suit says was filled with celebrities. She was then offered a drink that made her feel woozy, lightheaded, and felt like she needed to lie down, so she went into a room to rest. Now shortly afterwards though, the suit says Diddy and Jay-Z entered the room, with Diddy saying, "You are ready to party." That's when she alleges she was taken advantage of by both men while an unnamed female celebrity just watched. After the alleged incident, the suit says she grabbed her clothes and left. She made her way to a gas station where she called her father, it says. Now the accuser is seeking unspecified damages. Now Jay-Z has denied all accusations against him and has been going back and forth with Jane Doe's lawyer, Tony Busby, on social media. According to the lawsuit, her attorneys reached out to Jay-Z to request a mediation to resolve this matter. Upon present information and belief, Jay-Z responded to said letter by not only filing an utterly frivolous lawsuit, but also by orchestrating a conspiracy of harassment, bullying, and intimidation against the plaintiff's lawyers, their families, employees, and former associates in an attempt to silence plaintiff from naming Jay-Z herein. The effort was made to scare plaintiff and to discredit her counsel. That effort failed. Indeed, plaintiff chose to file this amendment as a result of the egregious conduct perpetrated by Carter, said the lawsuit. Now, in a response to CNN, Jay-Z called the mediation request a blackmail attempt. He also said this lawyer, who I have done a bunch of research on, he said, seems to have a pattern of these types of theatrics. Now, in a statement from Tony Busby on Saturday, he wrote, "The pleading speaks for itself. This is a very serious matter that will be litigated in court." Now, in response to this, Jay-Z posted a lengthy statement about this accusation, and he claimed that Tony was engaged in unprofessional behavior. Now, again, it's been a lot of back and forth about all of this, but the bottom line is that Jay-Z is denying everything. Now, Jay-Z was actually spotted the day after the lawsuit was refiled. Jay attended the premiere of a movie with Beyonce where their daughter, Blue Ivy, voiced one of the characters. It was the first time Jay-Z had been spotted in public since the accusations. But sources with direct knowledge told the Post that before the allegations, it was rumored that Jay-Z and Beyonce were not planning to attend the premiere. However, they appeared to have a change of heart after the lawsuit. So it seems like this was some kind of PR move, which is honestly just so icky to me. Now, this is a horrible look for Beyonce because it seems like she's okay with this behavior and is even trying to protect him. Now, the attorney for Jay-Z, Alex Spiro, has filed a motion requesting that the accuser in a high-profile lawsuit reveal her identity. In documents submitted to a Manhattan federal court, Spiro stated, "Mr. Carter deserves to know the identity of the person who is effectively accusing him of criminal conduct." He further criticized Jane Doe's claims of potential harm from disclosure as insufficient, asserting that her accusations were publicized in a manner aimed at causing maximum reputational damage to Carter. But musical artist Jaguar Wright has also spoken out, calling both Diddy and Jay-Z monsters in the past. Now, she did an interview with Piers Morgan and she made her feelings clear about the two stars. She asked Jay-Z to speak out about the arrests, but she also added that there were thousands of victims in total when Piers asked how many there could be. Wright then mentioned Beyonce, saying she was supposedly involved in the unfair incidents that transpired over time. She went on to say that she has spoken to hundreds of victims whom she continues to assist. She even said that she had 3 victims who were willing to testify about what Jay-Z did to them, as well as what he did to his wife. Well, that's what she said. And now it turns out that she might have been telling the truth. Everyone at the time was calling her crazy, but I'm not too sure now. I mean, it seems like she might have been right about everything. Now, this isn't the first time someone has spoken up about some of Jay-Z's creepy behavior though. Jay-Z's ex, Carmen Bryan, appeared to react to the news, and people are bringing up her weird relationship with him. Now, she just recently posted some shady stuff on her Instagram account, as in one Instagram story she shared the lyrics of a Kanye West song, and these lyrics pretty much describe Jay-Z's situation right now and what he did. She then posted another story saying, "These days people don't defend what is right, they defend who they like, and that's why we call you groupies. Additionally, in recent updates, she also uploaded a screenshot of an article that mentioned how Jay-Z's alleged son is also planning on filing a lawsuit against the musician. With her back in the media though, people are bringing up some things she said in her book about Jay-Z. In It's No Secret From Nas to Jay-Z, From Seduction to Scandal, a hip-hop Helen of Troy tells all, she recounted how she once woke up to Jay-Z kissing her. She said, over dinner I decided he and I would be good friends for a very long time. We went back to Eric's house talking and laughing. I was in no condition to drive home, so I decided to spend the night at Eric's, she explained. Sean and I sat on the couch and pretended to watch television. Before long, I drifted off to sleep. I woke up with Sean kissing me. His lips were so soft and luscious, and I began to melt into him. But yeah, that's not okay. Not at all. Now, it's also been exposed that Jay-Z has a thing for younger girls, which didn't seem to get him into trouble in the past, but now that I'm looking back at it though, it is weird. I mean, the signs were there, people, you just ignored them. Well, that's all for our video about Beyonce and Jay-Z. Now what do you think about this whole situation?